This guy is the strongest hunter in the world. He was there to receive an honor for it. People were watching on TV all across the country. Even t-shirts were being sold. His friend told Kang to say nice words in his speech. If he did, she would give him a prize that night. All the most important people were there. Then the world's top 1 hunter sighed and said, "I don't care about this shit. All I ever cared about was making money." Everyone was in shock. Kang Yu-sung wants to live his own way. If that goes against the rules, he doesn't care about facing everyone. One day, the peaceful world ended. Every normal person saw a system window appear in front of them. Then, the sky turned red. Giant towers covered the sky all around the world. They hovered in the sky, and from inside them, various creatures emerged. All the monsters went after the humans. An orc was about to attack a young girl, threatening to ruin her makeup. It was on this day that the first person who decided to fight the monsters appeared. Humanity would not fall without a fight. If the world was turning into a game, they would be the players. Some people used their powers to protect others as much as possible. The new rules of the world were announced. All towers had to be destroyed before they could break, and the monsters inside escaped to attack the planet. The strongest players quickly became famous for their power and determination. But now, the stance of the strongest of them all had shaken the world. The protagonist was at home watching what people were saying about him. Many of them are his fans and don't understand why he said what he did. They said they were going to boycott him and wouldn't buy any of his t-shirts. Kang went to the window and saw that reporters had decided to camp out in front of his house. Kang decided to go outside and give them some motivational words. He told them they should realize the danger that was nearby. None of them knew what he meant, until a massive tremor knocked them all down. They looked up at the sky and saw the towers over the city. As the tower break approaches, the floating tower gets closer and closer to the ground. Their mission was simple: attack the tower and save the world from destruction. Only Kang Yu-sung stayed completely calm. He just handed out a few pamphlets and walked away. He soon arrived at his spot. No rats here, he thought. Just as he predicted, the first day of the new season was quiet. His system then pinged. Most of the monarchs were thrilled to see the Clown Monarch's contractor. The Iron Monarch was practically cackling, giving his blessing to someone who had tossed aside their sword. The Blizzard Monarch also laughed, bestowing her blessing on the one who brought the mirror. Kang just shrugged, telling them to keep laughing. His system then buzzed again. His fencing aptitude shot up, and his magic skill increased too. These weren't random boosts. They meant something. Just like back at the UN Hall, he was here to grab rewards from these transcendent beings, these monarchs who loved watching players like him. Next, his system flared. The Golden Legends Monarch was laughing like crazy, giving his blessing to the one who chooses legends. This specific blessing came with a ton of perks. Kang Yu-sung wanted all those benefits right now. His system chimed. The one who chooses legends had a huge impact on a player's geisha. Just like that, he scored some legendary gear. It was a black cloak with a golden cross, called Oriate Fanaticism, boasting some insane stats. Kang now had a legendary defensive item, a heroic rank skill, and a heroic rank artifact. He was absolutely ready to hit the tower, but then his system popped up with another alert. The Golden Legends Monarch had just revoked his blessing for the one who chooses legends. Instead, he'd blessed Kang's t-shirt business. Kang Yu-sung stepped into the tower and immediately ran into enemies. This place was crawling with moonblood orcs. His mission: defeat the orc boss waiting on the highest floor. Kang wondered if now was the perfect time to test out his heroic rank skill. His skill had some incredible attributes. He activated the frozen sword, boosting his ice compatibility even further. That triggered an extra effect: cold breath. Kang gave a quick thanks to the Blizzard Monarch. Then, he unleashed his new skill. Ice storms erupted from him, engulfing the orcs and freezing huge groups of them solid. The enemies totally outnumber him, but they can't fight back. Kang Yu-sung freezes them all and pushes forward. His system immediately flashes rewards. He absolutely crushes the first floor. He even wonders if he'll have to save the world again. The system announces, second floor. Kang Yu-sung arrives and finds a massive orc horde already setting up camp. He's surprised. Suddenly, one orc senses him. They roar that the warrior is here and will take them to Valhalla. They're ready to fight with honor and die. Kang Yu-sung simply tells them to wait, because he's sending them straight to paradise. A short while later, the fight is totally over. He hits the fourth floor, pleased with all the leveling up. His only complaint? No rest stops between floors. As he thinks this, a system alert flashes. Song of War guards are blocking the boss room entrance. Kang Yu-sung thinks this is perfect. It's the ideal way to draw everyone in to face the elite monster he is. Right after, his system announces the Steel King has blessed the Song of War guards. The orcs feel this power boost and rev up, shouting that Valhalla awaits them. They want to chase the warrior who will lead them there. They chant an anthem of blood mud and steel, all for the Steel King. Kang Yusung notes his enemies aren't even giving him a chance to breathe, but he doesn't care. He attacks anyway. In the middle of the fight, he spots something new. One enemy charges at him with pure fury, forcing Kang Yusung to pull back for a second. Still, he keeps fighting, relentless. But then, he realizes his attacks aren't doing enough damage. This must be an elite warrior, meaning he's resistant to ice. Kang Yusung pulls back to rethink his strategy. He needs a fatal blow, but he doesn't have the right skill for it right now. With his current gear and stats, he's basically in the semi-final class. The cherry on top is the Frozen Sword. It's a heroic rank skill and a heroic artifact. Kang Yusung opens his inventory. He's not sure he can handle using this item though. The system warns there's a huge risk involved. But then the message changes, reminding him that those who don't act can't go to Valhalla. Without hesitation, the enemies hurl their axes. Kang Yusung decides there's no time to hesitate. He activates his artifact, the Frozen Heart. Instantly, the essence of powerful ice magic surges. His equipped skill cards now boosted his ice effects. Kang wasn't about to settle for scraps when he could have a gold mine of items. The enemies screamed that war was war, attacking him with everything they had, but they never saw his ice armor coming. Not only that, his attacks got way stronger, letting him crush his enemies and level up at the same time. Kang was much stronger now. He used his ice sword, blocking every hit. He froze enemies mid-fight, even shattering some of their weapons. He became relentless, leveling up with every kill. The orcs hated this. They kept attacking, but Kang hit back with full force, tossing enemies far away. He could even conjure multiple ice weapons now. One enemy noticed, but before he could react, Kang finished him. His agility was insane. Enemies barely saw him move. Kang declared the floor cleared, saying the stats were all wrong. With only one orc left, he decided to deliver the final blow. He wiped out all enemies and leveled up again. His system flashed, a reward pack of random skill cards and 1,000 conquest points. He checked the new card, a skill called Stab. He didn't love it, but admitted it was better than nothing. He equipped it, and its effects shot up. He moved to the next floor and found a girl shocked he was still alive. Kang apologized for not dying, but the girl said it was great. He could only sell items if he lived. She was behind the Mechanical Equipment King, an automatic vendor. She told him to use everything he'd collected before he died. He asked to see the item list. The girl insisted a legendary card would pop out if he bought a pack. He told her he believed her, but first bought a speed potion and a fire potion. The girl kept pushing for him to buy card packs, but Kang just ignored her and left. He reached the final boss's floor. The boss asked if it was time for war, telling him to fight with honor and die. The boss attacked. Kang threw up a magic shield. Kang wondered if he hadn't just been fighting dwarves and orcs all this time. Kang tossed a fire potion, engulfing the enemy in flames, but it wasn't enough. The boss escaped through the fire, but Kang declared it wasn't over. With icy slashes from his blade, he attacked, piercing the boss's body and killing him with one hit. Kang boasts that his blessing makes even a basic skill super strong, but then he notices it's not over. The enemy stands up again and his system blares. Berserk ability activated. Kang just scoffs, saying the game is too easy, not fun at all. The final boss returns, promising to end Kang, which only makes Kang even more annoyed by this persistent enemy. Kang knows that Shockwave alone could be lethal if it connects, but that's a big if. The enemy attacks, but Kang dodges it with incredible agility. The boss relentlessly tries to hit him, but Kang effortlessly evades every single strike. Meanwhile, Kang was secretly counting the seconds. As soon as his mental timer hit 0, he announced, "It's time!" He chugs another potion he bought earlier and utterly demolishes the boss. His system instantly congratulates him on his victory, awarding him a package of cards and recognizing him as the first to defeat that tower. Kang admits it's almost scary how smoothly things are going. He opens his reward, already guessing it's not the greatest haul. Still, he checks. The first card, super common, exactly what he expected. He immediately dismisses it as complete junk. After a bit, Kang moves on to the Tower of the Demon-Worshipping Imps. The enemies immediately notice him and group up, ready to attack. Kang calmly waits for all of them to get close, then hits them with a huge ice attack, freezing as many as possible. He's having a great time, mostly just trying to level up his skills. He easily clears this wave of enemies, and then a new one begins. This time, even more imps appear, but Kang finds it completely insignificant. Kang tells the enemies he'll get through all of them without any difficulty, and he makes good on his word. His powerful ice skills easily defeat every single foe. Not only that, but his ice skills are leveling up fast. Then, out of nowhere, his system blares. Tower boss appeared. The heritage heretic imp boss boasts he'll honor the demon king by spilling Kang's blood. The imp leader orders his faithful followers to rush Kang, but they are all instantly defeated. Kang's ice magic is simply way stronger than anything they can throw at him. Kang's system confirms that the tower boss now has the icy status effect. Kang says this enemy showed up at the perfect time for him to test something. His system reveals a bonus. The glacial synergy reinforcement effect has increased both the number and types of additional ice weapons he can create. This means Kang can now create even more chilling weapons than before. He decides to test this out right away, conjuring a whole volley of ice spears and launching them at the remaining enemies. The imps were already in trouble, but now they are just helpless, frozen punching bags. Kang shows no mercy. He completely clears the tower, earning some sweet bonuses along the way. One bonus is an equipment ticket, but it's pretty useless since he already has a legendary item. Kang also notices something cool. His frozen blade stays strong, no matter how many pieces he splits it into. With 8 blades, he doesn't feel much different for now. But then, the system pops up, telling him to greet his shadow. Turns out, one of the tower's factions is super interested in his recent performance. The system gives him the full rundown on this mysterious group, and next thing you know, he's meeting the Dark Council. The head of the council recognizes him. He asks if Kang wants to meet his shadow again and join their whispers. Kang thinks this sounds pretty good. He tells them he'd love to join right away, but there are tons of other factions out there just dying to take down the Dark Council. The leader responds, saying a veil will cover Kang too, and asks if he's forgotten the dark power. Kang quickly says no way. He only mentioned it because he knows exactly how that power operates. He figures words alone won't get him what he wants. Kang makes his move. He demands a shadow beast, and if they can manage that, they might as well throw in a rare dark element ability card. The shadow leader warns him not to summon his own existence, because as a mortal, his time in this world is fleeting. Kang fires back, saying there's no way he can work with them. He's done so much for everyone, and they won't even return the favor. He declares they'll never meet again, but the shadow leader isn't letting him go that easily. Reluctantly, the leader agrees to Kang's demands. And just like that, a system message pops up for Kang. He's got a shadow beast, plus a special achievement for adopting a cat and a cool 100,000 achievement points. Kang's almost used to these wild system surprises. But hold on, that was just one of his demands. He still wanted that rare shadow skill card. Once he gets his card, Kang finally agrees to join the Dark Council. His affinity with them instantly shoots up. Leaving the council, he starts thinking this season is going to be epic. He should totally keep pushing while things are on a roll. Or maybe, just maybe, he should stop now while he's feeling awesome and focus on recovering. As these thoughts swirl, someone suddenly calls out to him. Kang sighs, already bracing himself for whatever comes next. Boom! A whole bunch of reporters show up, swarming him for an interview. They've already caught wind of his latest achievements. But Kang is totally exhausted, so he just gives them a bunch of vague answers. Reporters keep pushing for information, asking about his latest actions. They even mention this season's race is super intense. Kang then asks how many people were actually involved. The reporters tell him it was 5 veterans from the Chinese Party Guild, led by the Swordmaster, but 4 players died in that attack. So Kang immediately counters, saying that guy sounds more like a shield master since he used human shields. The reporters wonder if he's trying to provoke an enemy with a comment like that. Kang just asks how many people the Swordmaster brought. Someone tells him he was alone. Kang declares the warrior must have been full of energy from day one, but he secretly thinks it's dumb to jump into the race so early. Everyone knows the Saint is busy hoarding skills and items first. Plus, the Gravedigger isn't even joining the game yet. He's focused on getting tier 4 items. The reporters ask for his thoughts on all this. Kang just says the warrior is crazy. That makes them think he's not planning to compete against the Swordmaster. But then he adds that he's also crazy. If he has to pick between being a winning or losing lunatic, he'd rather be the one who wins. He then asks if anyone can help him reach the tier 5 tower. Soon after, Kang finds himself alone. He mutters, there's only one thing stopping him from glorious victory. He notices lots of people betting on him to win. For Kang, this is no longer just a battle for pride. He knows the Swordmaster is probably already inside, ready to play for keeps. Kang decides to enter the tower. The system immediately pops up with a mission summary: Kavalis Empire or Rhodia Kingdom. Kang has to fight for whichever side he thinks is more just. He quickly figures out the communists are all about imperialism. Even if he had to pick, he'd go with the kingdom anyway. Why? Because in this game, the underdog always gets the best rewards. So he chooses the Rhodia Kingdom and heads straight for the palace fountain. When he arrives, everyone notices a new player and totally freaks out with joy. They shout that the visitor is here to save them, but Kang isn't happy with what he sees in the strategic planning room. Their gear tells him battle is close. He walks closer, asking who's in charge. Silence. Then a man steps forward, calling Kang insolent. He demands if Kang can't respect royal laws, especially in front of Lord Muta Duchamp, the commander, royal heir, and leader of the Duchamp Marquisate. Kang immediately asked the leader if if they expected to win the battle. The leader confidently said yes, even with scarce resources. He boasted about his own mental strength, saying it knew no limits. He also claimed his kingdom's men possessed the boundless mentality of hundreds of ordinary people. Kang couldn't stand hearing such nonsense. He punched the man, declaring that he would give the orders from now on. The other men seemed quite satisfied with this. They hadn't been happy with their former leader. After the meeting, Kang had recruited around 5,000 commoners for the infantry. About 900 of these recruits knew how to use a bow. This was a huge difference compared to the Empire's soldiers. The only bright spot in this whole mess was that in this world, there were no grudges or magic. Also, the Swordmaster wasn't just a player who relied on brute force. He was the apostle of the Iron Monarch. Normally, a standard player could only contract with one monarch, only that monarch could give them rewards, but Kang was special. He received rewards from several monarchs, all thanks to the Clown Monarch, who had changed him into this unique type of player. A monarch could have many players, but only one player held the title of apostle. That player was heavily favored by their monarch. A monarch would go all out to help their apostle, but of course there were always restrictions. For the Swordmaster, abilities linked to the Iron Monarch couldn't be used as his main attack. Because of this, Kang didn't think this fight was too bad, but he knew the soldiers would feel a different kind of pressure. You never truly knew how much of the world inside the tower was real. It was impossible to tell if these people were alive or just virtual beings existing within the tower. Either way, there was nothing he could do about it. He just needed to find a way to boost the soldiers' morale. Right before the battle, the soldier leader announced a great visitor had come to the kingdom of Roya. He also said Muta Duchamp was dismissed as commander, and the player himself would now lead them. The soldiers quickly realized their incompetent leader was gone. They saw this as a really good sign. Just this news alone was enough to lift their spirits, making Kang realize he had worried for nothing. But then he noticed a shift in their behavior. One of them reported that the Empire had launched an attack. The archers immediately prepared to act, launching their arrows at the enemies. An archer reported that the Imperial Army's offense was strong because they were at the front of the gates. He added that subduing them there would break the enemy's advantage. Kang decided Dart Beast was too much of a name and suggested calling it Blackie instead. Standing next to Blackie, he told the creature to show its abilities. The enemies wondered what on earth they were seeing. They noticed something big and dark on the castle walls. Their leader warned them not to break formation, no matter what happened. He spots something off. Before he can react, Blackie blasts forward, ambushing the enemy. The entire army freaks out, trying to run. Their leader shouts to forget the castle and just escape. But before anyone can move, everyone just freezes in place. Kang says Blackie was super hungry, and it was time for a meal. The dark creature then devours everything in its path. Meanwhile, the remaining enemy forces keep fighting Roya's men. From the wall, the protagonist keeps attacking from a distance. Then he realizes the Swordmaster isn't even there. He explains that a player showing themselves helps allies, but also reveals their position to enemies. Still, this isn't a fight to the death. Just like any other game, the tower has rules. Lose a fight, and you're just kicked out, making the attack a failure. Players can't kill each other inside, but the tower itself can. The protagonist thinks he won't die, but losing is still not an option. He starts to figure out his opponent's strategy. His allies got a morale boost, but that doesn't guarantee a win. Time passes, the fight is almost over, but the opponent is still a no-show. The protagonist wonders if the enemy will only show up after everyone is dead. Then, something wild happens. The swords of the fallen soldiers start moving on their own. Roya's army is confused, but the protagonist instantly knows. He declares, this is the adversary player's move, wondering how they got a heroic rank skill card. He guesses it might be pure luck, or maybe the monarch himself gave the enemy this power. Kang gets attacked but easily dodges. He figures his adversary has been preparing this whole time. But Kang says he also wasn't just sitting around waiting to be attacked. He adds that it's too late for his opponent now, because his own level up is complete. Suddenly, more enemy soldiers appear, and the protagonist realizes they're all targeting him. The battlefield has truly become a game, but he declares this won't be enough to beat him. He also points out that the more swords there are, the less precise their manipulation becomes. Kang summons a magic shield, protecting him from the incoming blades. He warns that if the enemy wants to win, they'll need to try a lot harder than that. Next, he sees something coming straight for him. He quickly realizes his main opponent has finally arrived. His system then blares an alert. The Archangel's shield just reflected the enemy's attack. The reflection creates a blinding burst of light for the enemy, and the shield shatters. Kang, the protagonist, asks sarcastically if his opponent really thought he could take over the fortress with just sword manipulation. The adversary has no idea how to respond. He just asks Kang what he thinks winning in this tower actually means. The adversary declares that even if the fortress falls and everyone in the kingdom dies, the Empire can't truly win unless he defeats Kang. Kang points out that his opponent knew this all along, but still chose this path. So Kang asks him if he honestly believes he can win. His opponent firmly agrees, claiming a player is a hero, and a hero's job is to protect the world. He argues that a bully who ignores this duty isn't fit to be the hero king. Kang compliments his opponent's passionate words. Then he asks if this means his own guild members aren't part of the world his opponent claims to protect. The adversary is furious. He snarls that Kang won't get a beautiful death. Kang calmly replies he plans to live a lot longer, wondering why his opponent is so angry. Their direct duel begins right then, with Kang attacking with everything he has. Kang declares his opponent's talents are weak and unfinished. The adversary suddenly realizes Kang isn't fighting alone. After witnessing Dodge's dark beast, he states that the monarchs are watching. He knows Kang isn't foolish enough to hold back and not fight for victory. Kang says it's not quite what his opponent thinks. He asks why things have to be this way. His adversary snaps back, calling Kang ignoble and accusing him of using words to exploit psychological weaknesses. But Kang quickly realizes his words are being completely ignored. The adversary sees Kang leaving and demands to know what he's doing. Then, a chilling realization hits him. Kang's actions from the very start, his immediate revelation of his presence, unlike the adversary's own stealth, wasn't meant to inspire his allies. It was to draw out every single enemy. Desperate, the adversary tries to chase Kang, frantic to stop whatever he's planning. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Army's command room, the officer in charge frantically discusses how to stop the monster they're up against. He becomes enraged, demanding action. His men try to calm him, but it's too late. Kang appears right there. Kang announces that winning a game isn't limited to just one strategy. The soldiers are stunned to see a player standing before them, wondering if their gods have abandoned them. They know their duty is to protect Duke Barmit, but they stand no chance. Kang mows them all down with effortless speed, until a new figure steps forward. The rival player watches as Kang effortlessly takes down the Imperial soldiers. He absolutely hates what he's seeing. Kang remarks that his opponent should have stripped the officers and hidden them among the regular soldiers. He tells his adversary that all he needs to do is halt the Empire's push. Surely, his opponent already knew that. Kang's rival absolutely loses it. Meanwhile, Kang's system pops up. It tells him the palace siege is done. All the main leaders are dead, and the rest of the enemy army fled. His rival still wants revenge, though, but Kang just cares about his mission reward. His system flashes his options. Kang mockingly thanks his opponent for the opportunity. He totally scoffs at the guy, even when his rival swears vengeance. Kang just wants his prize. He picks sword manipulation, which grants him steel synergy. This power boosts all metal attribute cards and skills. His enemy yells that it's not over. Kang couldn't care less. Kang just logs out, leaving his rival to rant to himself. Back in the real world, Kang doesn't look so happy. A monarch asks him through his system if he wants to be a hero. Kang realizes he always dreams this at this time. He always makes the same choice. The monarch warns him he'll be a hero among heroes, but no one will ever understand him for the rest of his life. He'll also become a total joke and laughingstock. The monarch says he'll never find anything so tragic and comedic anywhere else. Kang knows this dream has repeated countless times. This monarch, known as Clown, made a deal with Kang. Since then, his life has gone exactly as predicted. The next day, Kang wakes up to his phone ringing. He checks his phone and sees he missed 4 calls. Plus, someone is already banging on his door. Kang had been wondering why his dream felt so real. Now he's wondering about all this noise so early. He opens the door and sees the general manager. Kang asks what a big shot like him is doing here. This is Park Tasik, or Master Park. He tells Kang he got too cocky just because he was a bit tough on him. Park is a top 30 player who made a deal with the Monarch of Assassins. Everyone knows him as Deadly Blade. He's also the general manager of the National Intelligence Agency, taking direct orders from the Blue House. Kang sees him up close. He says the manager looks tired and asks if he also had to run around on the first day. Park tells him he has no time for that. Park explains that since the season's first day, warmongers worldwide are putting players on the front lines. They're creating a wave of destruction. He also asks Kang why he didn't answer his phone since the sun's been up for a while. Kang simply replies he was sleeping. Park quickly pointed out how messy Kang's life was. Ironically, Park then tripped over some trash and fell. He got angry and told Kang to clean up his act instead of just selling King Hero t-shirts. Kang felt a little embarrassed. Park joked that with Kang's lifestyle, he seemed more like a son of darkness. Park also wondered why Kang still ate at the same local restaurant 3 times a day, especially since he'd made good money. Kang simply said he liked the food there. Park said that made him want to try the food someday. Kang then started thinking about his history with the manager, a story that went way back, even before the world changed into a game. Kang was already a well-known player by age 15. The local internet cafe where Kang spent all his time saw all his amazing skills. The manager there, Park Tashik, thought Kang was incredible. He even told Kang to go pro. Kang was just playing for fun back then, but the manager convinced his parents. He offered to guide Kang and help him develop his talent. Then, when Kang turned 18, he was ready for his official debut. But before that could happen, the first season hit, the end of peace. And with it came the very first first tower break they had to face. Kang, just like everyone else, was terrified. He saw the horrors firsthand and nearly died that day from one of the creatures, but luckily, someone was there for him. Manager Park showed up and fought for Kang. He defeated the creature, giving them a chance to escape together. But for Kang, the loss was huge. That very same day, he lost his parents. Alone in the world, Kang felt completely lost. Manager Park became his only hero. That's how their deep friendship started, and it lasts to this day. Back in the present, Kang asked what Park wanted at his house. Park told him he was there because of the association. Kang then asked if the association still wanted him for something. The KAC, or Korean Players Association, is the only guild in the entire nation. It's an absolute power that manages all players. Park asked Kang if he knew about the Players Academy the association built last season. Kang then asked if Park meant the slave factory. Park confirmed it. He said the first graduation exam is happening in about a week, and they want Kang to be there. Park assumes Kang won't go, just telling him not to worry about these things. But to his surprise, Kang says he will attend. He wants to check out the new players, the future of the nation, but he has a condition. Kang demands the association change the exam to 5 o'clock the very next morning. The next day, with just 5 minutes until the exam, the academy is already packed with participants. One attendee recognizes Kang and realizes he's there to assess them. Another student scoffs, figuring everyone will graduate anyway. He just hates the early start, calling Kang arrogant for picking such a ridiculous time. Soon, the president of the ACGA asks Kang what he thinks of his students. Kang declares they've been babied from the beginning. Lee Sin-ongo looks a little embarrassed, but politely asks Kang to evaluate his students carefully. Kang just repeats that the conditions are exactly as he stated. With that, Kang agrees to test these rookies' strength. This means the final graduation decision is completely up to him. Even sensing Kang's superior attitude, the president agrees to let him do whatever he wants. The president thinks his plan is flawless. It's still early in the season, and the students are talented. There's no way even the heroic King Kang can mess this up. But then, Lee Sin-ongo's mind completely changes. He sees with his own eyes the students he believed to be excellent getting absolutely crushed by Kang. After defeating everyone, Kang stands before a defenseless girl, already crying over her failure. But then, Kang tells her she passed. The girl, shocked, asks how. Kang replies it was pure luck. He explains she was the luckiest of the 12, the only one left standing. He tells her to always remember that for a player, luck is everything. Then he declares, for now, that's it. He congratulates her on her graduation and orders them to turn off the cameras. Suddenly, the furious director bursts in, demanding an explanation. Kang just surprises him, revealing he knew the director's intentions all along. Kang explains that every single student here is related to an association executive or has powerful connections. That's why he concluded he was called to test their progress and collect data. Kang reveals the director's real goal. He wants to graduate failing rankers and use them as his personal hunting dogs. Kang blasts the entire organization, calling them rotten. This really ticks off the president. Lee Sin-ongo snaps back, asking what an arrogant kid like Kang could possibly understand. He says Kang isn't a hero just because people call him one. He argues that players are just weapons for their nations, in Korea and everywhere else. What they truly need in this new world, he insists, is a war hero. The president demands that Kang understand their position and cooperate. Kang just shrugs them off, thinking they're complete idiots who don't get it. Then, someone rushes up to the president with urgent news. When Lee Sin-ongo hears what it is, he freaks out. Kang, though, just smirks, saying the Player Academy is shutting down barely a year after it opened. A video has leaked, showing the organization's dirty secrets. Kang reveals that the head of the National Intelligence Division backed him up, which is how he got the footage. Now the president's reputation is in tatters. Lee Sin-ongo is absolutely furious with Kang. Kang uses his provocation skill, pushing the president's buttons even more. His system then alerts him. The clown is thrilled with Kang's actions and has decided to give him a reward. After that, Kang makes his exit. Outside, Kang thanks his contact. He asks if it's really okay for the National Intelligence Organization to hit the association this hard. His contact confirms it, explaining that the government isn't a fan of the association either. His friend adds that the government and the association are always butting heads. Kang loves this drama. He tells his friend to drop him off at the Tier 5 tower. A little later, Kang arrives. His system warns him that a hot and cold desert journey awaits. In a flash, he's teleported to the mission site. There, evil creatures are tearing through the local inhabitants. Kang sees this and notes that players always show up just in time inside the tower's domains. It's how they become saviors. Their sudden appearance makes them seem even more legendary to the locals. Kang crashes in, utterly smashing the enemies. Immediately, the natives see him as their only hope. He tells them they can call him whatever they want. The villagers see Kang as a priest of light, a divine messenger who brought them hope. But Kang can't shake a bad feeling about all of this. Kang then asks if there are any threats threats beyond these monsters. The others assure him they're in Divine Kingdom territory, so there's no need to worry about heretics. But then they reveal it will take 3 days to reach their destination. Kang is definitely not happy about this. He regrets rushing into this without more rest. Still, he tells everyone else to get some sleep. He'll handle any monsters, no problem. The men thank him for standing guard. Kang puts on his vitality necklace to boost his life recovery. He also decides to open the gift from his monarch. Inside, he finds a superior-ranked Grove Stone. He's actually impressed, saying he finally got something decent, but he figures he won't need it right now and stashes it away for later. Suddenly, giant scorpions start heading his way. Time to summon Blackie! His dark creature jumps into the fight. Kang finds this whole situation annoying, but he knows he can't just let his familiar do all the work, so he attacks from a distance, using his blade that moves with his thoughts. He realizes how incredibly useful this ability is. After taking down the scorpions, Kang levels up. Even his sword manipulation skill card gets a boost. But wait, it's not over. More enemies appear, an adult sand predator this time. Kang realizes he won't be sleeping tonight. Still, he isn't afraid, trusting Blackie to handle it. While his dark creature does the heavy lifting, Kang rains down attacks from afar with his mind-controlled weapons, piercing the giant worm from every angle. Kang barely moves a muscle. His weapons do all the work for him. He finishes off the predator with ease using his ice abilities. This levels up his ice traits as well. As dawn breaks, they finally begin their journey to the destination. Kang spots a fleet of knights and wonders if they're allies. One of the men explained that these were brave warriors serving the light god. Kang immediately asked why they hadn't helped out last night. His ally quickly explained that these knights prioritized protecting their goods. They guarded that wagon with their lives no matter what. Kang then asked about the knights' faction. His ally said they were the honored knights of the Order of the Bloody Cross. Kang shot back sarcastically, wondering if they had a golden calf or something super important hidden in that carriage. The knight leader told Kang to forget the carriage. He should focus only on his assigned task. Kang instantly realized these were knights using aura heart skills. They even managed to get the Light's Apostle involved. This just made Kang even more curious about what was inside that carriage. He tried to imagine what could be so incredibly valuable. One of his allies looked pretty embarrassed by Kang's bold attitude, but Kang suddenly yanked him close. He'd spotted an incoming arrow. Kang then shouted for everyone to get down unless they wanted to die. Arrows started raining down as they all scrambled for cover. One ally screamed about being attacked by heretics. He couldn't believe they dared enter Divine Kingdom territory. The enemies kept pushing forward. Kang watched, wondering how the knights planned to react. The knight leader yelled at his men not to let their goods fall into enemy hands, no matter what. He ordered them to activate their aura shields. Kang instantly realized these knights didn't care about their own companions. All they wanted was to protect that so-called golden calf. Just then, a system alert popped up for Kang. Protect the caravan and transport the items safely. Kang got ready to fight, launching attacks from a distance. One of the heretics scoffed, saying the attacks couldn't reach them. But then he noticed Kang wasn't even aiming at him. Suddenly, an attack burst from the ground, knocking the heretic right off his horse. Next thing they knew, Kang appeared right above them. But just as Kang was about to strike, he noticed something strange about the enemy's face. It was a desert elf. This instantly flipped Kang's plans. Instead of attacking, he decided to protect the elves, but his help wasn't exactly welcome. The fallen elf immediately sprang up, trying to attack Kang. Kang easily defended himself. While doing so, he asked the elf what was inside the caravan. The elf clearly thought Kang was trying to trick him and refused to answer. He then shouted for his companions not to listen to Kang, telling them to shoot mercilessly. Soon, the other elves let loose a barrage of arrows, but Kang threw up a magical shield, protecting both himself and the elf. His opponent declared that even if captured, he wouldn't say a word. Kang told him not to worry about that. He just needed to know what was in the caravan. That information would help him decide which side to take. Kang wasn't messing around. He told them he hadn't wiped them out yet simply because he chose not to. It wouldn't be hard at all. To prove it, he unleashed a quick display of power that left every elf completely stunned. He warned them, move a single finger and they'd all die. He then pressed them again about the caravan's contents. That's when the elf revealed the truth. No goods, but Princess Syria herself. Realizing the princess was kidnapped, Kang ordered the elf to return and spread the word. He'd grant them a special favor and let everyone live. The elf hesitated, so Kang gave a final warning. Back off now, or everyone dies on the spot. The elf and his allies quickly got up and left. Immediately, a knight stepped forward and questioned why Kang had let their enemies escape. Kang simply replied he needed to confirm something first. Then, ignoring the knight's earlier words, he headed straight for the carriage. Instantly, a sword was pointed at him. The knight declared that no one, not even the Apostle of Light, could approach the caravan. Kang responded by summoning his dark creature, warning the knight to step back while he still had the chance. This cleared his path. He reached the caravan, flung open the doors and asked the person inside if they needed help. Inside, he found the elf princess herself, Syria, princess of the kingdom of Ayub. She was far from grateful, declaring she didn't need a heretic's sympathy. Immediately, Kang's system chimed in. It warned him about neglecting his duty, signaling that the monarch of light was watching his every move. Kang simply stated he had no other choice. He outright defied the system and shattered the chains holding the princess. This bold move earned him a hidden feat and a massive 300,000 conquest points, but there was a catch. The tower's objective instantly updated and the mission difficulty skyrocketed. Kang declared the game was over, adding that freedom felt incredible. His system, however, shot back, vowing he would pay for challenging the light. It warned him that one of the tower's own forces had now turned against him. Suddenly, sentinels of light materialized in the sky, ready to do the monarch of light's bidding. On the ground, the Night Leader declared that the Apostle of Light had been corrupted. He didn't care if Kang was a visitor. He was now a heretic who had defied the light. Kang scoffed, saying the knights were only acting tough because they had backup. He reassured the princess not to worry, because he had backup too. His system instantly confirmed it, announcing he had gained the support of the Monarch of Shadows for his choice. Now the lights would fade and darkness would spread. And wait, there's more. The Dark Council drops a buff, Curtain of Absolute Darkness. This thing messes with all the knights' vision. Everything's distorted by this dark curtain that's covered the whole area. Kang knew taking this side would bring even better rewards than if he just stayed in the light. Now, the knights can't see the attacks coming from the darkness. They're taken down one by one. High above, the Monarch of Light's heralds can't do a thing, not until one of them blasts a path open with light. Finally, they can see what's happening below, witnessing the knights' utter defeat by the darkness. They are furious about who caused all this chaos. But before they can even react, Kang attacks them, not thinking twice. The heralds can't believe a mortal dares to do such a thing. Kang's system then alerts him that the Sentinels of Light now have irreversible hostility towards him. On the bright side, his friendship with the Dark Council faction has shot up significantly. Kang levels up, and his dark powers grow stronger. Then, his system pops up with another alert, claiming that countless factions throughout the tower are now observing his every move. It's a reminder that the world of the towers and the world within them are not the same. To explain, groups like the Knights of the Bloody Cross and the Elves of the Desert are creatures within the tower, part of its internal world. But the monarchs and their factions exist on a higher plane, which is the world of the tower itself. A player acts as an agent between these two worlds, almost like a monarch's forces directly interfering. Yet players are not mere puppets following the monarch's commands. Players who understand things beyond just the game text can make truly imaginative decisions within the tower, just like Kang, who predicted a better reward by joining the Dark Council and going against the light. If you have an idea, you can't hesitate to execute it. Even the monarchs themselves are bound by rules and restrictions. So, no matter how much the Light Sentinels detest Kang for defying their monarch, they can't change things. This is a Tier 5 tower, so no angel above rank 8 can descend from the heavens. These are the tower's rules, which is why only the heralds present are attacking Kang. But with all the darkness, the heralds' vision isn't clear. Their attacks actually hit their own allied knights. Kang figures they don't care about their allies, seeing as the followers of light weren't all that different anyway. To Kang, this end for them just makes sense. Then Kang announces that his vision suddenly became crystal clear. Kang thinks the buff's powers are incredible, but the enemy is still quite strong. He realizes he needs to do something fast before it's too late. So, Kang quickly goes to the princess and pulls her out of the war zone. Next, he calls Blackie and gives her the gift he received earlier, telling her to help protect the princess. He then uses the higher rank growth stone on Blackie, further boosting the dark creature's power. The princess sees an attack coming and warns Kang, but Kang doesn't need to do a thing. Without the princess even realizing it, the dark creature already protected her. It absorbs the incoming sky attacks and reflects them right back. Kang thinks this is great. His strategy worked perfectly. The enemies, on the other hand, just scoff, claiming it's futile and that these blades can't possibly hit them. Kang just shrugs them off and charges ahead. The Light Heralds get ready for another round. One even dives in for a close quarters fight with Kang. Kang tries a sneak attack from behind, but his enemy is too quick, dodging just in time. This forces Kang to change his strategy. Kang realizes going head-on throws him off balance. He wonders if constantly moving is even helping. After taking a hit, Kang sees this fight is tougher than he thought. He's stumped by how fast they are, even with their debuff. There's no choice but to keep fighting. But then, a moment of distraction and the enemy lands a solid blow. He finds all this flying around super annoying annoying. Kang just wants to finish everyone off at once, so he considers using his secret weapon. One of the heralds shouts that they won't let him. Kang hesitates, unsure what to do, and then he takes a direct hit. He starts bleeding non-stop. If this keeps up, Kang knows it's game over. His weapons start glitching. He can't concentrate anymore. The enemies see their chance to finish him for good. But then, his system pings. The battle-tested adventurer blessing fixes at 100%, a less than 50% chance. His one who cheats death blessing activated, making that last hit completely useless. And just like that, the radiant sword begins its localization. The herald's leader instantly knows something is wrong and orders a full retreat, but Kang just tells them it's too late. He summons a massive swarm of mind-controlled swords and flings them at the enemies, declaring it's time to end this. Every single herald takes a direct hit. That many swords just completely incapacitates them. Some try to escape, but Kang hunts down the stragglers and takes them out with ease. The fight finally ends. Kang levels up, having defeated them all. Even after all that, Kang looks exhausted. All his buffs vanished the moment the fight ended. He scans the area, seeing bodies everywhere. Then his companion appears. After everything, Blackie is safe. And not just Blackie, the princess is safe too. As Kang gets closer, she asks him why he betrayed his own people and went through so much for her. Kang tells her the rewards for doing it were just better. Syria asks if he has no empathy for his people. She also asks if he plans to demand a ransom for saving her life. Kang casually says he has a severe disease that makes him hate humans. He sees the princess is visibly shaken. He then apologizes for not taking her questions seriously. A few days later, they show up on horseback at the border of the elven kingdom of Eob. Syria tells Kang she's incredibly indebted to him, thanking him for all his help. Kang just tells her he only did it because he wanted a reward. So, the princess offered Kang a necklace. His system popped up, confirming he'd received the symbol of trust. It was a special accessory, its rank unknown. Kang didn't know its true value yet, but it felt important, like it would definitely come in handy one day. A little while later, Kang was on a train heading to Busan Station. A friend had called him there with an urgent request. Kang immediately asked if something big had gone down. His friend explained that nothing had happened yet, but it would soon, and Kang needed to be present. The problem was Nadezhda Ivanova. She was an internationally known criminal, part of the black players on the run from the Russian government. She'd snuck into Busan through the port and was now clearing towers with 4 of her subordinates. On top of that, she held the legendary ability card, Absolute Darkness Curtain. As Kang stepped off the train, Park asked if he'd run into any zombies. Kang just shrugged, saying no, he just needed a car to pick him up. Park had just gotten intel on the tower Ivanova's crew entered, so he was sending Kang straight there. Kang quickly realized he was heading into a Tier 5 zombie apocalypse tower. He hadn't expected a normal tower, especially not a Tier 5. His system blared an alert: survive the hungry infected, and Taylela's secret maintenance squad. These enemies were so bizarre, Kang even questioned if zombie was the right word for them. Suddenly, Blackie sprang forward, even without Kang's command. The shadowy creature seemed drawn to something specific. As Blackie faced an enemy, his hunger and urges surged. He swiftly maneuvered behind the creature, devoured it whole, and transformed into a giant whale. Kang knew then, eating that growth stone had truly changed his cat. After that impressive meal, Blackie looked incredibly satisfied. Just then, Nadezhda Ivanova herself appeared. She announced that she'd been waiting for Kang. Calling him the hero of heroes, she added that someone like him would never just leave a villain like her alone. Kang immediately told her he knew exactly who Nadezhda Ivanova was, a red mafia associate the Russian government was after, who'd snuck into Busan through the port with her subordinates. Nadezhda then asked if he planned to throw her in jail. Kang replied no, but admitted he had no idea why she seemed so relaxed facing him. Nadezhda internally scoffed, figuring Russian foreign intelligence probably had a pretty low opinion of her. Kang then speculated that her little gang also included Zaslan members, and deduced they planned to corner him and leave him for the zombies. Nadezhda reminded Kang that she worked for Russian intelligence, and asked if he still intended to fight her. Kang declared he wasn't there to become zombie food. He simply stated there was no other way for him to steal her legendary ability. Ivanova then realized she had been right about Kang all along. Ivanova immediately orders her men to attack. They open fire, bullets flying everywhere. But our hero is too fast, dodging every single shot. He tries to go after her, but Natasha somehow slips away. This actually impresses him. Now Kane is completely in the dark, wondering what just happened. Kane realizes Nadezhda vanished into the shadows. Right away, he has to defend himself from her team. There are 3 riflemen and 1 sniper. As he dodges their bullets, he thinks, maybe once but never twice. He knows the Absolute Darkness Curtain debuff affects everyone inside it, so how are they still aiming at him perfectly? Just then, his cat, Blackie, shows up. Kane tells Blackie he needs his help. Blackie agrees to lend a paw. Outside, one of the shooters complains. Kane's ice shield is too strong. They need a new plan. Suddenly, the shooter spots Blackie. Big mistake. That was his last fast sight ever. Blackie attacks, taking down all the shooters. Someone shouts a warning. Stay out of the cat's shadows. Inside his shield, Kane wonders if they can actually escape. He thinks it doesn't matter if they can see the shadows or not. Suddenly, Nadesha Ivanova appears. She holds a knife to his throat. She tells him she might let him live, but only if he behaves. Kane retorts that only someone who could kill him would say something like that. Nadesha warns him not to underestimate her. She points out his massive conquest points from clearing the 5th tier tower. That wasn't a normal score. She assumes he finished the tower on difficult mode. Yet, he then went for an easier challenge, just like last season. Outside, the remaining men are scrambling, trying to escape Blackie's shadowy attacks. It's not going well for them. Kane knows this. He was just waiting for the perfect moment. Then, he asks Nadesha how she plans to kill him. Nadesha is stunned. Everything she sees is a lie. She realizes she's been talking to an illusion this whole time. She fell right into his trap. Kane reveals he knew from the start this wasn't the absolute darkness curtain. He knows that ability messes with all senses. This could only be one thing, a legendary illusion ability, letting him manipulate what she sees. The ability is called Oculus. Nadesha realizes her plan is totally busted, and she's completely stunned. The protagonist doesn't waste a second, jumping on this perfect opening. Kang tells her it takes a real scammer to pull off a trick, but he admits it's not really her fault. He then says Nadesha is about to be the only one caught by a zombie, but just as he has her cornered, his system pings him with an alert. A player has died. His system adds that Taylela's secret squadron has found survivors, specifically in Zone B16. Nadesha and her crew spot another squad closing in. They know they need to bolt, but it's too late. They're spotted instantly. An iron soldier follows confidential protocols, instantly eliminating their target. Kang watches this unfold and debates his next move, stop them or defuse the shield. But before he can decide, he's attacked too. He quickly realizes there's no time to think. Suddenly, everything shifts. Nadesha notices the change and freaks out. It's the NPC merchant. She complains it's a huge waste for 2 players to die without spending all their conquest points. She throws the blame at Kang. He quickly apologizes, asking how he can fix things. The merchant offers him a card pack, but Kang refuses to buy. Kang knows once her shop opens, there are no peace treaties, so he tells the merchant to offer the card pack to Nadesha instead. He also realizes the attacks happening right outside the shop are seriously bothering Nadesha. The merchant just shrugs, saying Nadesha won't survive anyway. Still, she offers the card pack, suggesting Nadesha might get lucky and pull a mythic card that could save her. Kang asks if selling card packs is literally all this merchant does. Then he's shocked. Nadesha Ivanova is actually spending all 374 of her conquest points on random card packs. He just watches. Nadesha tears open the packs, but only common cards pop out. She gets super frustrated, pulling nothing good. The merchant tries to boost her spirits, telling her there's still hope. Nadesha gets more and more nervous. Kang, meanwhile, comments that he finds the whole circus burning down quite amusing. After tearing through countless card packs, Nadesha is down to her last one. This pack has to have something good, or it's game over. Ivanova knows a mythological card is a pipe dream. Even a legendary or heroic one would be enough, but no luck. The saleswoman tries to cheer her up, offering a potion. Kang cuts in. He tells the saleswoman it's time to close up. The saleswoman argues that after all the unexpected deaths and sacrifices, it's definitely time for a legendary card. She even guarantees the next pack will have one. Kang's system, meanwhile, goes ballistic. It says even the Hell Monarch is in shock. It declares it can't help. Nadesha Ivanova immediately curses Kang out in Russian, hitting him with every insult she knows. Kang just shrugs it off, calling her curses inefficient. But he agrees to buy one more pack. He pulls a duplicate card. His system instantly asks if he wants to upgrade it by combining skills. Kang thinks this is way better than some useless regular skill. He wonders what he'll get. Nadesha is absolutely fuming. Kang ignores her. The saleswoman announces she's leaving already, but Kang tells her to wait. The saleswoman leaves anyway. Nadesha Ivanova starts swearing at Kang again. Suddenly, iron soldiers appear. They prepare to attack, ready to eliminate all witnesses with their confidential protocols. But before they can even move, Kang eliminates Nadesha Ivanova for good. Then he charges the soldiers. Kang isn't dying here, not like his last enemy. He fights with everything he's got, wiping out several soldiers. Kang attacks with his mind-controlled swords, but the soldiers hit back hard. They fire laser beams from heavy military weapons. Kang is stunned. All this from a pharmaceutical company? He thinks he should invest in pharma stocks when he gets home. But first, he needs to beat these guys. He quickly decides not not to buy stock in this company. The destruction he's caused and all these soldiers he's wiped out mean huge losses for them. They might even go bankrupt. After obliterating everyone, Kang finally completes the zombie apocalypse tower. He even gets a random equipment ticket. As a victorious survivor, he also gets to pick one skill card from a failed player. He doesn't even bother looking at the other cards. He knows exactly what he wants: Ivanova's old Oculus skill. Once the tower is cleared, all players, even the failed ones, return to the previous world. Kang realizes 2 people from his group, plus Nadesha, died fighting Blackie. They likely couldn't escape because of their pain, but this only works if the tower doesn't cause true death. Before leaving, Kang tells Nadesha Ivanova, "Good job." She's totally confused. Kang basically asked if she wanted to get arrested. If so, he suggested she just turn herself in. Nadesha was shocked, asking if he was really just going to let her escape. Kang confirmed it. He then told her to spread the word. The Hero King was amazing and nobody should cross him. He even added that dead people don't talk, so he needed her alive to do his PR work. Later, Park questioned why Kang had let the enemies live. Kang simply explained it was for the legendary skill compensation they left behind. This really annoyed Park. He demanded to know why Kang would let traitors walk away with their heads still attached. Kang clarified that he wasn't some bloodthirsty killer. His real wish was to be more peaceful, even philanthropic. Park sarcastically praised Kang's speeches, then pressed him on what the enemy's real goal was. Kang didn't answer directly. Instead, he just announced that he was now managing Park's internet cafe. His friend gave up trying to get an answer, wishing Kang a safe return and telling him not to push himself too hard. Kang thanked him for the concern, promising he'd take care of himself. Inside the towers, players get all sorts of names. Kang was called a hero, but he honestly thought players weren't real heroes at all. They were just war heroes, nothing more. He knew people like Nadesha Ivanova, who took down their own country's enemies without a second thought. But Kang refused to be that kind of hero. He believed there were no such thing as real heroes in his world. Suddenly, he was recognized. It was morning. He'd been careless. As he left, people who saw him whispered about his reputation. They weren't sure if the media reports about him were true, but none of that mattered to them. The only important thing was that Kang was the strongest active player in the country. Everything else was irrelevant. Kang even breathed a sigh of relief hearing that. He started heading home, but ended up getting cornered before he even arrived. Journalists tried to mob him, but he slipped away before they could. He figured since he'd have to go into the tower eventually anyway, he might as well just rest there. Once inside, he heard some men announcing that the Holy Warrior invocation ceremony was a success. Kang had no idea what they were talking about until the saint herself stepped forward. She said it was a pleasure to meet him. She claimed he was a warrior from another world who had answered her prayers. She introduced herself as Alicia Celestina, the 37th saint of the sacred kingdom of Celestina. Kang decided to play along. He declared himself the warrior who would save the world with speed and precision, then asked what he could do for her. The saint told him to start by explaining Philia continent's history from the very beginning. Kang figured it probably started with a huge fight between celestials and demons. The saint confirmed he was right. That's how the war between light and darkness began. Demons, usually stuck in the dark abyss, started invading the world of light. After about half an hour of this long story, Kang got impatient. He asked if they could finally go save the world, but the saint said, "Hold on, the story's just getting started." She explained that celestials feared humans would misuse the Ark's power, so any chosen warrior needed approval first. Kang just turned around and started walking away. The saint asked him where he was going. He said he was going to work, but the saint pointed out he didn't even know where the Ark was. Kang asked if she knew. She admitted she didn't either. Kang just shrugged, saying it didn't matter then. Suddenly, a portal ripped open out of nowhere. Demonic creatures started pouring out. The saint saw them up close, shocked. How did a demon get into sacred land? Knights immediately charged forward, declaring this place was off limits for demons. The fight was on. Kang watched the whole thing from a distance. Everyone wondered why their divine magic and aura blades weren't hurting the enemy. When the demon moved to attack, Kang quickly told everyone to get back. He then created a shield to protect them all. The saint offered to help, but Kang told her it was fine, insisting they stay behind his shield. She worried about him, especially seeing him jump directly into danger for everyone else. Alicia decided to pray to her goddess for mercy. Soon, everyone else joined her in prayer. Moments later, Kang's shield shattered. The saint quickly asked if he was okay. Kang said the enemy had fled, but before leaving, it sent a telepathic message. It was the demon's duty to claim the Ark. Soon, this light-filled world they hated would be drowned in darkness. The message warned Kang not to stand in their way. The saint was absolutely terrified by this message, but Kang wasn't letting that stop him. He pushed, saying they couldn't waste time. He asked if she had any idea where the Ark was, even though she was still stuck stunned. Alicia finally said she had a guess. With that clue, Kang took off to find the relic. Meanwhile, Kang casually mentioned his cat did an amazing job playing the demon. Turns out, that creature was just faking the whole thing. He realized he'd used it to intimidate everyone. Now he'd have to avoid using dark skills for a bit. He also warned Blackie not to use his spikes for a while. As the Saint noticed Kang falling behind, she asked if they should slow down, but Kang quickly refused. He figured his method was best. After all, this was how you properly used a legendary skill. Soon enough, they reached the Adventurers Guild. Kang mentioned hearing about some requirement to enter the labyrinth. The receptionist knew exactly what he meant, the Adventurer's license. She told them to wait a moment. While they waited in the lobby, the Saint explained their location. This was Garcia, the Labyrinth City. It sat neutral, right between the sacred kingdom of Ernestina and the Draugr Empire. Just like its name hinted, an ancient underground structure formed the city's very core. Kang mused that it would be tough to find a better place to hide the Ark, the celestial being's ancestral weapon. Soon, it was their turn. The receptionist handed over some paperwork for Kang to sign. The Saint almost signed it herself, but Kang stopped her. He read the fine print. If you died in the maze, the guild took zero responsibility. Even worse, if they recovered your body or belongings, they became city property. Kang quickly asked if this was non-negotiable for the license. The receptionist explained the guild offered everyone a fair shot at the labyrinth's huge fortune. She added that adventures were risky, and it was entirely an adventurer's choice to take the plunge. Kang sarcastically remarked that the guild clearly understood the value of life. After he signed, the receptionist wished them good luck. A little while later, they finally stepped into the maze. They started on level 1. Kang asked the Saint if she was ready, and she confirmed she was. Right away, they met their first enemies, a huge rat and its babies. Kang created an opening, and with a precise hit, the Saint struck the rat down. They moved fast, reaching level 5 in no time. Kang credited their speed to the Saint's amazing skills, showering her with compliments. But the Saint humbly pointed out that other adventurers had occasionally wiped out magic beasts, clearing the path ahead of them. She explained they were in a hurry, so she was grateful for those who helped clear the way. She suggested that if adventurers always cooperated, even demons wouldn't seem so scary. Kang told her not to worry. He promised to bring back the ancient weapons safely. Suddenly, some labyrinth bandits appeared. They told Kang and the Saint they couldn't pass without paying a toll. The Saint instantly worried, but Kang wasn't fazed. He told them he didn't know the local name for it, but this kind of labyrinth crime or adventurer hunting was common in big labyrinths. The bandit, seeing Kang knew their operation, ordered him to hand over all his gear. The Saint was terrified and tried to talk her way out of it. Kang then chimed in, asking the bandits to hear him out. He spun a tale about celestial beings and demons almost destroying the world. He declared himself the warrior sent to stop them, needing an ancient weapon hidden in this very labyrinth. Plus, he wasn't alone. He had the Saint from the Holy Realm by his side, so he politely asked for permission to pass. The Saint quickly backed him up, emphasizing that it was all for world peace. The bandits just burst out laughing, telling them they wouldn't fall for such silly stories. Alicia Celestina grew uneasy as their plea failed. Kang, however, had seen this coming. He declared that in the labyrinth, everyone had to act like an adventurer, no matter if they were a warrior or a saint. Time for action. With that, he struck without mercy. The bandits tried to fight back, but they stood no chance against Kang. Suddenly, another person appeared, demanding to know how Kang dared to attack her men. She noted he was more skilled than he looked. The Saint immediately recognized the woman. It was the guild receptionist from earlier, but she couldn't understand why she was here. Kang then dropped the bomb. The guild and these bandits were working together. They pushed new adventurers into deadly traps, forcing them to put a price on their own lives. Even if adventurers couldn't pay, their bodies still had value. Alicia Celestina was horrified. The receptionist sneered, calling her a knave. She asked the Saint why she bothered becoming an adventurer if she couldn't handle how things truly worked in this city. But the receptionist declared it was too late for them and charged forward. Kang quickly defended himself, warning her to watch her step. She attacked from above, completely missing the sharp thorns sprouting from the ground. Kang had used his cat for this. While he kept the enemy busy, Blackie had quietly set the trap. He then told the Saint the path was clear and they needed to leave right away. They pushed deeper into the labyrinth. Kang spots a good camping spot and decides they'll settle there for the night, continuing their journey tomorrow. He sees the Saint is still shaken. It hits him that she's been like this ever since the bandit attack. He realizes she's just not used to seeing the world without her special saint status. Alicia Celestina then speaks up. She says the world is ending, but people still fight over stupid things. She asks Kang if he's used to seeing this kind of chaos. Kang thinks about the leaders from his old world. He tells her it doesn't matter where you are. Some things about the the world just never change? His answer piques the saint's interest. She asks more about his hometown. Kang explains his world faced multiple crises. No one knew how to handle it, so everything devolved into total chaos. He admits he struggled to adjust at first, but after some time, once he cleared his head, he saw everyone was just fending for themselves. The saint then asks if Kang acted the same way. Kang throws the question back at her, asking what she thinks. She pauses, a long, awkward silence filling the air. When she finally speaks, her answer completely shocks Kang. He's genuinely startled, but then he just bursts out laughing. They both fall silent again for a bit. Kang then starts to wonder why it's so quiet. He's sure it's almost time for it to happen. Just then, the saleswoman pops up again, offering him a pack of cards. Kang wants to check the product list first. He's still 2 levels away from his big goal. A few days later, they hit level 100. Now they're facing demons, who are also hunting for the Ark. Kang charges forward while the saint provides backup from behind. This setup lets Kang attack without a hitch. He rips a snake's mouth wide open, top to bottom. Even the snake leader takes a hit. The demons groan about their loss, but Kang simply calls it a good journey. He didn't just level up, he also snagged 10,000 conquest points and a random skill package. Kang grumbles that the demons have terrible timing, only showing up after he finished his test. The saint, however, is ecstatic about their success, but then something catches them both off guard. Right in front of them, an item appears. It's clearly what they've been searching for. Kang walks up to the Ark. He remarks it looks pretty plain for an ancient weapon. His system confirms he's acquired the quest item. Immediately, the maze starts reacting. A portal rips open. The saint tells Kang they need to go through it to escape. Once they're outside, she breathes a sigh of relief. But then someone shows up. This new person claps for the saint and the otherworldly warriors. They say Kang and the saint made the Empire's mission to find the Ark way easier. Mildas Draga shows up, claiming the Ark's power now belongs to him, the Empire's representative. He demands they hand over the item. The saint recognizes him as the Empire's crown prince. Kang quickly points out this prince isn't on their side. Mildas promises to spare their lives if they just hand over the Ark, but the saint argues back, saying he can't do that. The Ark's power is meant to protect the world from demons. Then, the prince drops a bombshell. He already has an Ark fragment. He boasts that once he collects them all, even demons will bow to him. The protagonist, unfazed, simply says the prince just made his job easier by bringing the item he was looking for. Mildas explodes in anger. He orders his men to attack, declaring it's time for the Empire's proud swordsmen to prove their worth and loyalty. His speech hypes up the entire army, and they charge. The protagonist's system pops up with an alert. The scenario is ending soon. It warns that the prince and his royal guards are after the Ark's power. Kang doesn't just stand there. The saint gives him a massive buff, summoning celestial armor that supercharges his defenses, and his attacks totally amplified. With this insane power surge, Kang can fight an entire army head-on no problem. One of the prince's men wisely suggests retreating, saying it's too dangerous to stay. But the prince, full of arrogance, snaps back that it's not time to flee yet. Kang's system blares another warning. The prince is absorbing the Ark's power. The protagonist had predicted this. He warns the saint about the danger. As the protagonist takes cover, on the other side, the prince begins a horrific transformation into a giant beast. Some of his own men try to ask if he's okay, but he just roars for everyone to get out of his way. He's now a full-blown demonic beast, even turning on his own soldiers. After that, the protagonist combines his abilities with the saints and summons magical armor. Then, he tosses a potion, unleashing an earthquake and fire. The whole area erupts in chaos, creating a perfect distraction for him to close in on the enemy. Kang sees his chance and starts hitting the giant monster from multiple directions. Nulvis goes absolutely ballistic, roaring that the protagonist can't hide in the fire forever. Nulvis tries to attack, but quickly realizes it's not the protagonist, just a fire illusion. The protagonist pops up on the other side, sarcastically saying Nulvis must be seeing things, with all that power going to his head. Then, he unleashes a surefire attack on the monster. Nulvis is completely caught off guard, taking a hit that rocks him from head to toe. The protagonist emerges victorious. Suddenly, his system pings. He just got the second Ark fragment. Kang now has the item's full power. It's so strong it even shocks the saint. She just can't imagine its true strength. Kang thinks everything went great. All he cares about are the levels and points he just earned. He then gives the Ark to the saint. She's confused. Why would this warrior from another world trust her with such power? She insists she's not qualified, but Kang tells her she's the only one capable. Otherwise, this power would fall into Emperor Draga's hands. He urges her to protect it, warning warning that if she doesn't, it'll still land in Draga's clutches. The saint says she can't be irresponsible with the Ark's dangerous powers. Kang explains that, from his experience, people who only seek power and destruction often carry a heavy burden, but he believes she will fight for good, alongside everyone else. She thanks him, saying his words made her feel much better. Kang is happy to hear that. With the mission complete, Kang gets a bunch of special rewards and heads home. A week later, he thinks back. He only finished one tower. He went in expecting to relax, but ended up pushing himself way too hard. Then Kang spots some internet articles about himself. Turns out, not everyone sees him the same way. It's still mid-January, and Kang knows there are bigger things happening. A few days later, he steps out again. As usual, reporters swarm him, trying to get answers. But Kang just walks right past them, straight into the next tower. The reporters are left staring, wondering if he entered the Awakening Tower. Inside, an entity reveals it's been waiting for him a long time. Kang tells it to cut the small talk and get straight to the test. He soon faces an unknown challenge. The entity scolds him for being so impatient, adding that the test was going to start anyway, even without his complaints. The test begins. Kang finds himself in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by circular mirrors. He smashes them and tries to move forward, but then a copy of himself appears, wearing a clown mask. It comments that Kang doesn't even seem surprised to see it. Kang isn't interested in talking. He gets ready to attack, but his opponent is just a shadow, mirroring every single move. So when Kang attacks, the clown copy does the exact same thing, and their powers collide. Kang quickly changes his strategy. He uses his shadow creature, keeping the enemy distracted. The clown copy mirrors everything, and Kang finally realizes this thing is a perfect copy of him. Despite the clown being a perfect copy, Kang doesn't stop his assault. He thinks about how he's fought this same type of enemy every season, and honestly, it's getting old. He finally unleashes his dark magic attacks, determined not to give the enemy any advantage. The clown strikes, but Kang's magic shield protects him. Thanks to his blessing, the one who deceived death, Kang naturally dodges the lethal attack. He immediately takes the chance to retaliate. Kang figures the way to finish this fight is actually pretty simple. He doesn't change his approach. Kang charges at the enemy, aiming to pierce him, but because his moves are perfectly mimicked, Kang also gets hit head-on. That was his plan all along. The clown then asks Kang why he's so serious. He tells Kang they can be a hero or a villain, and it's up to them to decide their path right now. The clown tells Kang not to take himself so seriously because, according to him, nothing in this world should be taken seriously. Kang just tells the clown he talks too much and that he has a way to silence him forever. Then Kang places his hands on the clown's face and explodes his head, definitively defeating the clown. Kang then takes the clown's mask for himself. He asks if there's anything else he needs to do. Suddenly, the clown monarch appears. He calls Kang the child of 1,000 faces and talents and tells him to choose what he wants to become next. Sometime later, at a hospital, Master Park frantically runs to a room. He finds Kang lying in bed. Park is desperate. He heard his friend was hospitalized and rushed over as fast as he could. But when he gets there, Kang is acting like nothing even happened. Kang asks Park how he could possibly come to the hospital empty-handed. Park realizes Kang still has his sense of humor, which means he must be okay. Park tells him to stop messing around and get back to fighting for world peace. After all, Kang is a hero. Kang asks if his manager expects him to work with a hole in his chest. Park insists that Kang must have chugged a healing potion or something similar, but Kang explains that despite appearances, this isn't just a common wound. Park isn't surprised knowing Kang's Monarch and says that Monarch isn't easy to deal with. Kang says it's actually not that serious. He explains that awakening at level 50 happens in different ways, depending on the Monarch. In his case, his reward for ending himself was to gain his own talent. This means he absorbed all the skill and attribute cards he'd collected so far. Not only that, but his skills also improved, and with this, he got everything he ever wanted. Next, he asks Park about his new mission. Park explains he needs to find and defeat a real villain. These days, true villains are rare. This guy is known as the Black Player. This Black Player is absolutely terrorizing the city. He acts like some twisted maestro, orchestrating total chaos. He calls everyone ignorant, claiming he, the great maestro, will show them the way with his amazing talents. He even sets the city on fire, saying it pleases the Fire Monarch. He insists only the Fire Monarch truly understands his art as always. Soon, the maestro spots the police closing in. He calls them fools for trying to catch him. The police watch him disappear into a tower, leaving them baffled. Later, the protagonist arrives. He sees the city's destruction firsthand. This guy, he thinks, is no ordinary psychopath, so he enters the tower, hot on his trail. Inside, Kang finds an arena. His opponent, the maniac maestro himself. The maestro, however, clearly didn't expect to face Kang. He knows Kang's reputation. The protagonist tells him they're fighting, ready or not. The maniac asks if the protagonist can understand his art. Kang just shuts him down. down, calling him a crazy magician wannabe. He says he can't understand why the world is full of lunatics like him. The maestro is furious. He hates hearing his art called something mass-produced. He immediately unleashes fiery attacks, trying to burn the protagonist alive. But Kang just scoffs, saying charlatans always get irritated over nothing. This only pushes the maestro's buttons further. Then, Kang spots an attack from above. The pyrotechnic maniac thinks he's got him, that he's defeated Kang. But Kang is too smart for that. He easily escapes, telling his opponent he'll have to try a lot harder to catch him. The enemy launches another attack. This time, it hits. He laughs in Kang's face, claiming Kang helped him create an amazing melody. But just as he's celebrating victory, the protagonist reappears. He reveals it was just one of his illusions, then charges forward, attacking the enemy. The enemy dodges Kang's attack, which actually impresses Kang, but even though he dodged, he's hurt. He becomes furious, yelling that a product of illusory art has no right to speak. Kang just tells him he's not good enough to even comment on that. Kang then uses his ability, creating several clones of himself. He tells the maniac this is the audience he deserves because this just might be his last performance. But the opponent screams back that his art will not die. Then, he triggers a tremendous explosion from within himself. Kang was completely caught off guard. His system then confirmed he won the battle. He knew players couldn't kill each other inside the tower. He figured he should have just waited for the maniac to lose it at the exit instead. Kang left the tower and immediately teleported to France. Just as he expected, the magician's specialty was sudden death, and Kang found him right in his home country. He was sure his enemy couldn't get away this time. Kang attacked with his ice blades, making sure the enemy couldn't escape. He charged forward, striking directly, ready to finish this for good. But then, a shield suddenly appeared around the magician. Kang realized it wasn't the magician's doing. Someone else had stepped in. A woman emerged from the other side and ordered Kang to drop his weapons. He recognized an old acquaintance, Saint Mary Yeager, master of the Knights and Rescue Guild. Kang asked her what she was doing there. Mary explained that the French government requested her guild's help. They were investigating the black player and had been waiting for him to leave the tower to capture him. Kang asked if they could just take him out of the shield, but Mary said the black player couldn't die yet. She added that killing someone mid-pursuit was only okay in specific situations. Kang sarcastically remarked that she really lived up to her saint title. Mary countered, saying revenge only leads to more revenge. She told him that just because the enemy acted like a monster didn't mean Kang should too. Kang asked what was so wrong with killing the black player, especially after everything he'd done. Mary responded that she was telling him this for his own good. She then asked if Kang understood the global consequences such an act would bring. But as they argued, the ice covering the enemy melted away. The magician seized the chance to create another explosion. He couldn't break through the barrier though, and ended up just blasting himself with fire. Mary repeated that she was trying to protect Kang. She said the criminal was captured now and she'd take over. She advised Kang to go home and rest. Fine, Kang thought. He did as she said, complaining that thanks to her, his trip to France was a complete waste. But before leaving, Kang tried one last move. He unleashed his dark magic, attempting to strike the enemy one more time. However, Mary kept her shield up, protecting the fallen player. She told Kang he was just wasting his time. Kang agreed out loud, but internally he'd expected this. He attacked the enemy yet again. Kang strikes again, and this time he's totally effective. The saint is completely shocked. The hostage she was protecting is gone, leaving only a pool of blood. This really hits a nerve with the saint and her organization. The clown monarch, however, loves every second of it. Kang then asks her if she knows how many people this lunatic has killed. He points out that not just adults but even children have suffered because of him. Kang makes it clear this psychopath deserved no mercy. He argues that black players are destroying the world faster than the towers ever could, but the saint still can't agree with his harsh methods. Kang already knows what she's about to say, that anyone who kills a monster becomes one too, but honestly, he couldn't care less. Then Mary steps closer, looks him right in the eyes, and tells him he's not a monster. Kang is a little surprised by her words, but he hides it well. A moment later, his phone rings. It's Master Park, yelling his head off that Kang didn't warn him he was fighting a serial killer. Kang casually tells him he might go deaf from all the shouting, and that he just did his job. He asks what the problem is. Park quickly explains that Kang shouldn't have executed the target in public. It's seen as excessive force, and now the French government is going to be all over him. Park also tells Kang he's booked a flight for him to get home as soon as possible, but Kang states he still has something to take care of. Park isn't happy, but Kang explains he has a life outside of work and promises to share all the details once he's back home. Then, Kang just hangs up, leaving his friend talking to himself on the other end. Kang is thankful for the help, but he often finds Park a bit too dramatic. Now, alone with Mary, he thanks the saint, telling her he's indebted to her. He adds that granting her request is the least he can do. Mary tells him she's relieved to hear that. Kang tries to get a bit closer, but she just says she'll see him tomorrow in Paris. Kang then comments that she's really good at setting boundaries. He asks if she has anything else to say. She just just replies no and wishes him a good night. After Kang leaves the room, the saint is left alone, wondering if asking such a big favor from him was really okay. The next day, a new tower opens in the French capital. Kang is already there, his mission to reach the end of this scenario. Enemies are chasing him, firing from a distance, but Kang fires back, returning every attack. The saint is right there with him, riding inside their carriage. Kang spots a bridge ahead and suggests they block it to cut off their pursuers. They're inside a tower recreating the French Revolution. Their objective? Protect the nobles from the revolutionaries. Kang and the saint quickly block the bridge. Then Kang smashes it, making it impossible for anyone to cross. They stand guard, ready for a fight, as the nobles make their escape. But instead of attacking, the enemy leader calls for a ceasefire. He demands to know why the players are doing this. He explains that until now, Kang and Maria were fighting with the revolutionaries for a new world. He can't understand why they suddenly switched sides. He adds that the saint was key to their success so far. He wants to know why she isn't fighting for their cause anymore. The leader accuses her of siding with the corrupt royals. Still, he admits he doesn't want to fight a former ally. Kang asks if this is the real reason the saint needed his help. He finally realizes Maria has been in this world before. Maria confirms she was here once before, during a Tier 5 tower. Back then, she fought without hesitation for their cause: freedom, equality, and union. Kang notices the slogan sounds familiar. Maria explains it's the same one from the Great Revolution of the past. Kang points out that those who believe they're fighting for a righteous cause are now her enemies. He tells Maria that if she wants to switch sides, now is her last chance. Maria explains the tower is a restricted entity. To reach and complete Tier 6, they need to confront these enemies now. So Kang agrees. They'll continue. The saint tells Kang she's happy to have him fighting alongside her in the tower. Meanwhile, the revolutionary leader tries to argue again, but Kang quickly strikes him down. Kang even laughs, asking the stunned leader if he still believes these visitors are God's apostles. Kang gives a final warning. The bridge is down, so they should retreat. He doesn't want to spill any blood, but the leader refuses. He states that even if it means fighting visitors from another world, he will do it for the greater good. The leader announces he's deploying anti-visitor tactics. He orders his soldiers to activate their armor's tactical mode and unleash their magic armor. He shouts for them to fight for freedom and equality. Immediately, the enemies unleash enhanced firearms. Each shot explodes with pure energy. Maria, a saint, buffs Kang. He gets a massive 1000% boost. His movements and reflexes become lightning fast. Kang is super impressed, thinking this power-up will make the fight way easier. Maria tells Kang to fall back, saying she'll handle things, but Kang isn't having it. He unleashes dark magic, causing a total blackout and stopping her in her tracks. Kang takes charge again, slashing through enemies. He figures a Tier 6 tower army would be tough, but he didn't expect to fight in total darkness, needing to calculate every move. So, he asks Maria to raise her shield. Maria asks Kang to get rid of the darkness. Kang tells her he doesn't want her interfering. He claims he just wants to test out her buffs properly, especially since they'll share the attribute XP anyway. He tells her he has everything he needs to finish off the enemies, all thanks to her buffs, and he doesn't need her help in the fight itself. Maria feels a bit frustrated. Still, she knows they have to keep moving. Kang, riding his giant cat, tells her to head up to Ward 2. They need to reach the king fast because nothing else matters if their city falls. Maria insists he doesn't need to go so far, but Kang says he's perfectly comfortable. He claims if she just keeps buffing him, he can take down every enemy and keep her out of danger. Maria reminds him that wasn't why she called him. Kang just brushes it off, saying it doesn't matter. He's already doing all this for her after all. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a building is burning. Screams echo to kill the revolution's enemies. The leader shouts that these are orders from the Duke of Blood and Iron. All sympathizers of the old system must die. No one gets spared, no matter their gender or age. When they arrive, Maria is horrified by the destruction. She wonders why the revolutionary army went so extreme. Kang tells her this is what an ideology truly means. He adds that the same fate would have hit the townspeople they left behind. Then, his system alerts him. The Duke's personal bodyguards, the Iron Blood soldiers, are blocking their path. Kang declares that this isn't a revolutionary army fighting for a great cause anymore. They're just criminals. He tells Maria to expect another blackout for a few minutes. Time flies, and they complete the tower. Afterward, Maria faces reporters eager to hear about her raid with the Hero King. She looks a little annoyed. She tells the reporters that for their country's sake, she and Kang are simply professional acquaintances. But Kang, just to mess with her, says they had a busy night in many ways. He asks what else a man and a woman would do in a tower besides dating. Maria blushes like crazy, denying everything. But Kang just keeps teasing, piling on more details to the story. Maria got furious and told Kang to quiet down, all caught on camera. Kang's goal was simple: boost his provocation stat and entertain his eccentric king. Just like that, a system alert popped up announcing his reward, a package of rare cards. Kang felt a bit let down. He expected more, but then his mood soared. He saw another reward, a powerful sixth sense skill. Later, the news had spread everywhere. Kang declared it was too late to claim they were just friends. Maria, despite her embarrassment, couldn't hide a little smile. She was secretly happy. Soon after, they entered a new tower. This one was full of frozen helmet enemies. Kang needed a buff. He humbly apologized to Maria for his earlier teasing and asked for her help. Maria verbally expressed her annoyance with him, yet her face betrayed her true feelings. She wasn't that mad. She quickly charged forward. Maria told Kang to stay clear, quipping that a hot night was always followed by a cold one. She fought alone, using her powers to easily clear the Tower of the Frozen Helmets. For a month, they went on a series of shocking raids. Each victory brought them both levels and rewards. After their month of raiding, Maria went with Kang to the airport. He kept teasing her with jokes about them being a couple. Maria, however, said she envied him and wondered how he could act so irresponsibly. Kang took it as a compliment. Maria admitted she was happy to have him as a trustworthy player. Kang replied that he felt the same. Maria wished him a safe trip home. Before he left, Maria thanked him for all the good he had done for the world. On the plane, Kang thought about all this. He figured this type of cooperation was super efficient, but everyone's top priority remained national interest. He also decided he'd have to invite Maria to his country eventually. Suddenly, his cat interrupted him, asking how long Kang planned to keep petting him. Kang was shocked and asked since when the cat could talk. Blackie simply replied that he had evolved. Kang then asked why he hadn't spoken up earlier. The cat explained he didn't want to interrupt Kang's flirtation with Maria, but now, he declared, the games were over. He ordered Kang to open the card package he'd won. Kang quickly opened it, hoping for a legendary card. He explained that while some call them just card sets, once you unlock all cards, you can build a real deck. The key elements in this game's decks are synergy and classes. Kang already had great synergy from his previous draws, but with so many mismatched extra items, he missed out on a class buff. Still, he snagged the Shadow Assassin class, plus some sweet enhancements. He decided to take a short break. Once home, he planned to test his new deck on a tower. Back in Korea, he immediately started hunting for one. As usual, people recognized Kang on the streets. They watched him head into a nightclub, but he wasn't there to party. He wanted to talk to a seriously drunk guy. This guy was groaning about a hangover and demanded to know who dared bother him. Kang simply told him he'd count to 3. By then, the guy needed to get up and follow him. The drunkard fired back, asking who Kang was to give orders. He even boasted his dad was the president of Grupox and couldn't be treated like that. Kang couldn't care less. He just grabbed the guy by the hair and dragged him right out of the club. Before all this, Kang had actually visited the association president. He'd said he wanted to test his new deck and thought about taking some newbies on a free trip. The president had mentioned a promising rookie who recently awakened, but when Kang met this promising kid, he couldn't believe this was the same person who cleared a tier 3 tower. Hearing Kang's words, the rookie recognized him as the Hero King. He immediately asked if Kang was there to take him to a tier 4 tower, saying he was totally bored with tier 3. This actually impressed Kang, so he decided they'd tackle a tier 4 tower together. First though, he wanted to see what the rookie could really do. He then tossed the kid right into a fight against an enemy. The boy completely freaked out, seeing what he was up against up close. Instead of fighting, he just ran, begging Kang for help. But Kang simply said he wouldn't budge. The spoiled kid screamed, asking if Kang thought everything would be fine if he just let him die. From a distance, Kang saw the boy was only surviving because of his armor. He knew getting a free trip wasn't a bad deal for the kid, but selfish people only cared about fighting for themselves, just wanting easy levels and attributes. Kang wondered who would save the world in the future. Hearing the boy's desperate pleas, Kang finally stepped in. He told the kid that if he wanted to be here for free, he needed to earn it. Right after that, more enemies dropped in from above. The boy was absolutely terrified. Kang, on the other hand, quickly dealt with the new threat. Once safe, the spoiled kid immediately started threatening Kang. He said that when they got out, he'd tell his dad everything that happened. Kang just claimed he was a wicked teacher trying to transform the boy and teach him a lesson. He then asked if the kid really expected a happily ever after. The boy thought about it, but had no idea. Kang told him there was no right answer. Then, using his skills, Kang put a death mark on the boy. This made him an instant target. The boy immediately felt the effects. This debuff totally ignored his stats, so he got hit. The protagonist told him this excursion wasn't for people like him. He added that if the boy thought it was unfair, he could come back once he was stronger. Back in the real world, outside the tower, the spoiled boy looked around, confused. He asked what was going on. Kang explained he'd killed him almost painlessly. The boy didn't even realize he was dead. Instantly, the boy exploded in anger again. He swore the protagonist wouldn't get away with it, but the protagonist simply asked what would happen to him instead. The boy declared that the hero clearly didn't understand the power of massive corporations. Kang just shrugged. He said he didn't care, even if they sent an assassin after him. It didn't matter if one more conglomerate saw him as an enemy. There was already a whole country disapproving of his actions, and they didn't want him alive much longer. So, one more big or small company wouldn't make any difference at all. Kang added that if the boy wanted, he could try his luck. Then, out of nowhere, they both got pulled into a new tower. It was called the Endless Labyrinth. Kang was totally blindsided, but then he saw it was even worse than he thought. The spoiled boy was there too, along with other people who looked utterly lost. One person recognized the protagonist as the hero king and instantly felt relieved. They figured they'd be safe next to him. A woman spotted the word group on the ground. She realized they needed to work together to clear the tower. The protagonist saw they were officially a group now. Even if he hated it, he had to survive with all of them. The woman read the rules. She announced that they could respawn if another player killed them. So, if they were in danger, they could actually kill themselves to escape. Kang hated this idea. He immediately figured they wouldn't last long. Still, he declared this was a free expedition from the Hero King. Everyone had to introduce themselves and show their skills. And just like that, the mission began. After fighting some enemies, the protagonist thought they were doing pretty well. He credited it to his new sixth sense, but he knew his group was full of spoiled brats and brand new players. He figured if this insane team division was supposed to balance power, their opponents were probably all veteran, level 40 players. So, it was no shock they looked like easy targets. Then he told everyone to gather up. They had guests arriving. Moments later, the enemies showed up. The battle began right away. The protagonist declared that if most of the team died, the rest would be disqualified. The opposing team was already struggling. The game system was about to eliminate them all, disqualifying them based on the rules. But Kang noticed something important. He quickly took out the enemies before they even reached his tower. Kang knew a harsh truth. If the maze killed a player, they couldn't be revived, even after the trial ended. So, he told them they should be thankful for his kindness in finishing them off himself before the maze got them. Meanwhile, another player watched Kang from a distance and rushed to warn his teammates. But suddenly, Kang appeared out of nowhere, completely startling the player. Super shocked, the player quickly pretended to be a huge fan of the Hero King. Kang just coolly asked if he was there by himself. Soon after, the player bolted, rejoining his group. He reported finding other players, mentioning one was high level and the others were weak. Their leader decided they only needed to take out the weaker players, and the rest would automatically be disqualified. But then the leader asked the player if they were even running in the right direction. The player apologized, smugly saying it was better this way. That's when the others finally realized it was a trap. Before they could react, Kang completely wiped them out. Their entire group failed the raid. Kang wasn't done yet. He tracked down every single opposing group and took them down, clearing the first maze himself. His teammates, who frankly did nothing but get carried, cheered their victory and collected their rewards. But the system chimed in with a warning. They had to decide who got the reward. If they couldn't agree, no one would get anything. They quickly figured out it was a shared group reward, not individual. Kang then stepped up, declaring he did all the heavy lifting and deserved everything. He asked if anyone disagreed. The only one to object was the spoiled kid, who loudly declared he'd take the rewards as compensation for earlier events. This sparked an argument. Another group member immediately claimed he was more deserving, saying he was the only one who actually helped Kang. Just like that, a fight broke out between the two. The spoiled kid and the stingy one prepared to duel for the prize. Kang was clearly not amused. The two remaining teammates tried to calm things down, but Kang, fed up with their nonsense, simply killed both fighters. He told them they should have some common sense. They got free XP and achievement points, so they should just be grateful. Then he stared at the survivors and asked if anyone else wanted to object. The two remaining teammates were absolutely terrified. They stayed silent, and just like that, Kang took all the rewards for himself. Next, he unlocked a mysterious ticket and a random blessing. Kang uses the blessings, and they're pretty awesome. Blackie Egan even compliments his luck. The system asks Kang if he wants to combine skills and make them stronger. He agrees instantly, thinking that more blessings are always better, even if they're not fantastic. Monarch blessings don't reset. They carry over to the next season. That makes them far more valuable than skill cards in the long run. Kang asks if he should head to a fire attribute tower to complement his new blessing. Blackie immediately says he hates fire. He suggests going to a dark, cold place instead. Kang tells him he's quite demanding. Then, the system alerts Kang. The Sacred Tower and Jahel are calling out to him. His unknown rank accessory is exerting its powerful influence. The system asks if Kang will answer the call. Kang realizes his moment of rest is over, but it's not a bad thing, so he accepts the call. He heads straight to the tower. When he arrives, a princess tells him the goddess of shadows heard his prayers, and he has answered her call. Kang immediately recognizes her. It's Princess Syria, the same one he rescued before. He notices she's in a higher position now. She's no longer a princess, but a queen. Syria tells Kang she owes him an indescribable debt. She says he's there as an ally, so her guards shouldn't show any hostility. Kang remembers the last tower ended with her being crowned queen. He asks how he can help this time, wondering why a queen would need his assistance. Syria explains the Holy Land has been taken over by the elven kingdom of Io. After that, the Pope died of heartbreak. The new Pope took over and appealed to human kings to unite their forces and reclaim the territory. Soon, the Third Holy War began between the desert elves and humans. Kang realizes it's a religious conflict. He thinks it could all be resolved with some kind of agreement, but Syria tells him the kings of 3 nations have already sent their armies. Their target is likely this very fortress they are in, the closest one to the Holy Land. She asks if Kang will fight by her side in this war. Before Kang can answer, he spots the King of Malice standing on the horizon. Syria is impressed he could see that from so far away. Regardless, Kang activates his secondary deck. He swaps his glasses for an ice beam skill. He prepares to attack from a distance, telling the queen she doesn't have to worry at all. A human eagle then surveys the area around them. Our hero moves in, and his weapon gives him a super clear view of everything. He immediately starts blasting from a distance. The humans are quick, raising their shields instantly. So, Kang's shots don't land. The shields just absorb all the energy. Kang wonders if these shields are blessed by the Fire Monarch. He just got a gift from the Snow Monarch, and now the Fire one keeps showing up? What's going on? On top of that, an enemy squad spreads out trying to find Kang. Our hero gives up on long-range attacks and decides it's time for some close combat. He drops from the ridge, landing directly in front of the enemy. But he's not alone. The elves also attack, firing arrows. The search squad leader yells that they need to find the visitor first. He claims no arrow can break their shields. He's totally wrong, though. Our hero helped the elves before, and they know the enemy forces must be getting weaker. Some soldiers are still confused, thinking Kang is the Apostle of Light. They can't figure out why he's fighting on the side of their enemies. Kang unleashes Blackie and his dark magic, but even the cat looks surprised by what happens next. The human leader charges forward, telling everyone not to back down. This is Richard, the King of Malice, and he tells his men not to turn their backs on their god. Suddenly, the king sees a giant shadow approaching, about to swallow his whole army, but even with that, he doesn't give up. He tells his soldiers to follow God's will. With his sword, he shatters the dark barrier and charges right at the enemies. His strength and determination light up everyone. This totally catches our hero off guard. The enemies surge forward, straight at Kang. They are completely determined to defeat him. Kang sees all this up close, but just as he's about to strike back, attacks come from another direction. The elves appear, and one of them tells our hero to keep his eyes on the target. On their queen's orders, they confront the humans head-on. Kang realizes that the human squad is also full of fanatics. Both sides clash directly. The battle between humans and elves is super intense. Soldiers fall on both sides. However, the humans aren't doing great. The elves move faster than the knights, until the human king appears, and takes down several elves himself. But the human king is after something bigger. Our protagonist, Kang, sees this and decides it's time to even the odds. The epic showdown begins. The king still sees Kang as a traitorous apostle. He demands to know who Kang thinks he's fighting, but Kang just stares him down. He tells the king he's just another enemy, a target for a reward. He even wonders if the king has a dragon heart. Kang then slaps a mark of death on him. Immediately, his system flashes. Exposed weaknesses debuff applied. The king's hit, defense, and dodge stats plunge by 500 points. The king is furious. He roars that he won't fall to an insect like Kang. In a shocking move, he kills his own warhorse. He bathes in its blood, using the dark power to strengthen himself. Kang is stunned. The king just got a massive debuff. How is he still this strong? The king, now powered up, lunges to crush Kang. But Kang is ready. He quickly swaps out Ice Beam for sword manipulation from his secondary deck. The battle kicks into overdrive. Kang unleashes his mental control, making his swords dance with dark power. Bloody souls burst from the ground, swirling and consuming the king's body. Kang figures the bloodshed on the battlefield has supercharged his power. His system confirms the conditions are met, clearly outlining the ability's area of effect. Then, he gives the chilling command, "Rise." Just like that, dead knights spring back to life, rejoining the fight. The king, however, bursts free from the bloody souls. He shouts that Kang's bizarre tricks won't stop him, but then he stops, utterly shocked. The fallen soldiers are rising. Even the dying are now getting back up to join Kang's side. The king's own knights, once loyal, now turn on him, fighting for Kang. The king is devastated, screaming out to his men, but Kang's system blares a warning. The area of effect is too wide for his current necromancy skill. His power to control the dead flickers and deactivates. Still, Kang manages to defeat the enemy king. Later, as the sun begins to set, Kang brings the king's severed head to the elven queen. Queen Syria thanks him for his service, but she reminds him they've only taken down one of the 3 pagan kings. The jihad, this bloody holy war, has just barely begun. As night falls over the kingdom, Kang takes a moment to soak in the view, but then he feels something unsettling in the air. A chill runs down his spine like blood is spreading on the wind. Mood totally ruined. Kang heads back inside the castle. That's when the NPC vendor pops up to chat. She tells him he's maxed out his frozen sword creation skill. If he upgrades her shop, he can finally buy a waking stone. Kang just nods. He was wondering when she'd finally make an appearance. He explains she wouldn't trek all the way up a tier 7 tower just for some mediocre sales. So, he agrees to upgrade. He instantly gets a new ability, Frost Smith, with some seriously sweet stats. The next day, Kang is back on the battlefield, itching to try out his new power. He freezes enemies effortlessly, having a blast. He jokes that their captain must really love his seat. His army is getting wiped out, and the captain is still chilling in his tent. Kang decides if the guy doesn't come out soon, he'll just go in there himself. Before the fight, the queen had some intel. Bloodbeard apparently moved his elite troops secretly and set up camp close by. Kang praises the elf spies, but the queen reveals it was actually humans who leaked the info. She adds that the 3 kings in this holy war have never really gotten along. Turns out they're still squabbling behind the scenes. True or not, this is a golden opportunity to strike. Barbarossa is the strongest of the 3. The queen asks Kang if he can lead his elite forces to take him down. Back in the present, Kang recalls his plan. Take down the king secretly, just to be safe. The intel seems solid, but the target is missing. Kang then steps into the tent and finds the king hiding. He asks what he's doing. Suddenly, the king collapses right in front of him. He was holding a glass which shatters on the floor. Kang sees this and immediately senses something's wrong. He suspects poison. Kang quickly realizes the king died even before the fighting began. An elf soldier approaches, seeing the exact same thing. Kang thinks the true enemy is lurking right there among them. Since Season 1, these shadowy forces have manipulated nations, pushing them into war. They send assassins to take out strong players from rival countries, caring only about their own twisted agenda. Kang is furious. He finds this whole situation utterly ridiculous. He heads back to the queen and tells her the king was poisoned by someone from his own ranks. Syria immediately asks if the information leaked to anyone else. Kang thinks the king wanted some kind of insurance policy. The queen can't believe it, not with the holy war so close. But our protagonist says that's exactly the reason. This way, the king gets all the glory and breaks the balance between the 3 nations. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The queen then realizes they now have to face the supreme king's forces. However, Kang is confident, claiming the remaining army won't return. Those troops were sent to a holy war. Without a king to lead them, they're probably all gathered in the human camp nearby. Someone mentions that pagan assassins attacked Bloodybeard and annihilated his knights. Whispers start that these pagans might even be responsible for the king's death. Meanwhile, Philip II, the supreme king, declares it's happening. Soon the fallen king's troops will follow his orders. After all, both the devout king of Malice and the rich Bloodybeard were defeated by those pagans. One of Philip's men suggests Philip could claim the Holy Land, and everyone would serve him. King Philip not only agrees, but also claims to have received a divine revelation. He believes his will is the same as God's, and he uses this to ignite a feeling of vengeance among the soldiers. For that, he orders the forces of the king of Malice and Bloodybeard to the front lines. Philip asserts that the Angel of Faith is on his side. Therefore, his men shouldn't doubt anything. Sometime later, the protagonist faces another army. He sees the King of Malice's cavalry and Bloodybeard's armored infantry have united, forming one massive force. Not only that, they're all flying the same flag. It hits him. Philip is definitely behind this. The human army, shouting their beliefs, prepares to attack. Cain comments on their slogans, saying they sound like something from a history book. He questions if they truly believe killing all their enemies will bring peace. No time to ponder, he prepares for battle too. He activates West Wind, a buff he bought from the store that will last until the end of this fight. He unleashes the wind across the battlefield. It's not just wind, it brings along a freezing breeze. The enemy soldiers spot the protagonist, burning for revenge. Their leader shouts to his men, telling them not to perish against against the blizzard. Even the king, who appears at the front, keeps safely behind the main army. Just like other human leaders, Philip has a blessing from the Monarch of Fire, and he uses this power to influence his army. But across the battlefield, the Shadow Monarch gives his blessing to the elves. And get this, the Dark Council faction also jumps into the fight. The Monarch of the Blizzard even blesses the elves too, and their Glacial Guardians faction starts turning the tide in their favor. Watching all this unfold from afar, Cain starts questioning the entire war. He wonders if this is truly God's will. He can't even tell if there's just one God or many. Either way, he figures any deity behind this must be pure evil. Blackie tells Cain to cut the nonsense and just do his job. Cain agrees his cat is right, and finally decides to jump into the fray. As Cain prepares to end this war, his system flashes an alert. It tells him not to disappoint the council and temporarily gives him 100 shadow puppets to use. All this support impresses Cain. He sees he's not the only one fighting for victory, but he also notices it's not much different from the enemy side. The human side boasts 59 ranked sentinel angels. Cain lets his puppets take care of them, saving his own focus for his true opponent. He zeroes in on King Philip. The two clash, but then something unexpected happens. Cain notices Philip's equipment looks just like a player's gear. However, Philip talks like a mere character, not a player. This makes Cain wonder if Philip isn't a player at all, but the original wielder of golden fanaticism. Suddenly, Philip attacks from above. Cain grumbles that everyone seems to have wings these days, but then a system alert appears. It says the Shadow Monarch granted him the Raven Wings buff. Now Cain can fly too. He's not thrilled though, muttering that he didn't ask for wings. This aerial fight completely throws off Cain's carefully planned deck, turning it into a pile of useless cards. Only Philip is happy, declaring that he finally has a worthy opponent, and so their sky battle begins. Philip taunts Cain, saying he seems to be struggling and calling it punishment for betraying God's will. Cain decides to provoke him, asking if poisoning Bloodybeard was also part of God's will. Philip fires back, accusing Cain of resorting to cheap tricks and vowing not to fall for them. Philip goes on about everything he does being God's will. He calls himself a seraphim, claiming his will and God's are totally identical. He lunges at Cain, but only hits an ice clone. Suddenly, Cain pops up behind him. He mutters that wings are a pain, blocking the view, and lands a hit on Philip's back. But Cain's system warns him, this rank 8 seraph has the Supreme King's body. Philip's body then glows, causing a massive explosion that blasts Cain backward. The spot where Cain hit Philip instantly regenerates. Philip rises again, now sporting a halo and even more incredible wings. Cain watches this whole thing, thinking angels are now just stealing bodies. Cain's system pings him. It explains that the Fire Destroyer's faction infused his Sword of Light with infernal flames. Meanwhile, the Glacial Guardians faction empowered his Ice Sword with Cocytus's Chilled Kai. This means Cain now has power equal to Philip's. Suddenly, it starts to rain. Down on the ground, soldiers get soaked, while high above, the two enemies face off. The battle rages intensely for both of them. Cain struggles to keep up while flying. Then, in one careless moment, Philip manages to slice off one of Cain's wings. Philip, thinking he's won, seizes the chance to go for the kill. Philip throws everything he has at Cain, trying to finish him, but Cain still had a trick up his sleeve. He unleashes Blackie, whose spikes pierce Philip. Not just that, Cain also uses his telekinetically controlled swords for even more damage. This saves Cain from being killed, and he finally defeats King Philip. His system confirms he's eliminated the one with an archangel's body. With the fight over, Cain rips off his other wing, declaring he doesn't need it anymore. On the ground, soldiers spot something falling. When they realize it's their own king, they're completely stunned. Philip isn't the only one. Other angels start plummeting too. Cain's system then warns him, the story's flow has been distorted. This altered story is now modifying the player's historical gear. Cain instantly gains Philip's suit after defeating him, plus a hefty 10,000 conquest points. In the end, he's just happy it's finally done. So he's back in the real world, only to be instantly swarmed by reporters. Cain's confused. He entered the tower from his house but didn't return that way, and seeing his different suit, that just brings a ton of questions. Cain wasn't having it. He ignored the reporters completely. Just then, his manager rushed over. But the manager did a double take. Cain looked totally different. So Cain stepped up and decided to address the media himself. Cain told them people loved heroic stories, but they also secretly wanted to hear he was past his peak. He admitted feeling ashamed sometimes, questioning why he even bothered protecting the world. And since they pushed him so hard, he just threw it back at them. Did they really love war that much? His question silenced everyone. Cain then described war. Molten iron pouring down as you climbed castle walls, arrows tearing into you, getting getting sliced open, watching your insides spill out. He pointed out, though, that it was the 21st century now. He wanted to show them what modern war looked like. He talked about missiles raining from the sky, bullets ripping through bodies, fighter jets bombing innocent people. But he added that no matter the era, the sight of guts spilling out was still the same. So he hammered his point home, asking them one more time, did they really like war? The crowd mumbled. People claimed it was impossible to like war, that nobody, winner or loser, could ever truly enjoy it because it was always horrifying. As they spoke, Kane's mind flashed back to the tower. The queen had told him she was satisfied with his revenge, but then she admitted she was scared now. Kane asked what had terrified her. Sirius replied that the war's end, all the blood, all the deaths, it left a truly horrifying picture. It made her question if this was truly what their goddess had wanted. Kane had reached the same conclusion. Back in the present, he declared that no one could possibly like war, but then he pivoted, asking if they liked heroes. The crowd cheered their agreement. Kane then challenged them. How did heroes even become heroes? The only way, he explained, was by facing enemies and fighting well in wars. You couldn't have heroes without battles to fight, right? So, he concluded, deep down, people actually loved wars, even if they'd never admit it. The journalists fired back, calling his statement extreme and wrong. They argued the current situation was just a product of modern times, totally different from what he was describing. But Kane shot back, saying it wasn't like that at all. Their neighbors to the north were sending assassins to kill them, treating it like some kind of game. He pointed out this was clearly war disguised as espionage. That got the reporters buzzing. They immediately asked if foreign assassins had already tried to kill Kane. He played dumb, pretending he'd accidentally spilled top-secret information. The journalists pressed for more, but Kane had already achieved his goal. He then dropped a whole new bombshell on them, something completely hidden until now. Kang got real deep about the war. He wondered, even if the world ended tomorrow, would everyone just keep fighting each other? He pointed out how players are forced to become their nation's strength, basically weapons of war. Instead of fighting global threats, they just battle their own country's enemies. Kang also noted that people think they can finish the season without him or the other war heroes. And the reporters? They totally bought into this lie. He then asked why he had to go through all this trouble to save a world that clearly didn't need him. Kang's entire speech went live, broadcasting worldwide. Leaders and VIPs from every nation listened in. Some even started to get a little nervous, but then a reporter stepped up, claiming the fight was worth it. Kang just shot back, asking why. Others quickly argued that innocent people couldn't be sacrificed. They said a player couldn't just ditch their responsibilities. Kang declared that anyone could be a hero or a villain. Everyone gets to choose their own role. But before he could say more, his manager cut him off. He grabbed Kang by the arm, trying to pull him away from the cameras, saying it was official business. Before leaving, Kang gave one last warning. He told everyone not to talk about a player's duty or beliefs. He explained that if an ignorant person like him actually had strong convictions, he wouldn't take responsibility for the world's current mess, and he made sure to tell them to broadcast that part too. The clown monarch loved Kang's attitude. Meanwhile, Park told Kang he was taking him home. But Kang only cared about his rewards. Kang's system immediately alerted him. He'd received a legendary item, some kind of amulet, and an ability to strip enemies, but he decided to check it later. Later, back home, they saw Kang's speech was already making waves globally. Park just wanted to chill, grab a cold drink, and relax. Park asked why Kang was still listening to the news. Was he scared since he'd caused so much chaos? Kang was just surprised Park wasn't furious. Park explained he couldn't be angry. He could see Kang wasn't doing well. He told Kang nobody knew him better. Kang mentioned he had an acquaintance in France. Park quickly added that Kang was on a totally higher level than her. Kang thanked him, and Park appreciated the recognition. Park then asked Kang about his current class. Park answered, pure blood assassin. He'd recently awakened. He then showed off his new gear, including a legendary weapon, a heart-cutting dagger. Park also mentioned hearing that Kang had corrupted a legendary rank piece of equipment. Kang just shrugged, saying things just happened that way. His friend urged him to take a break, warning he'd seriously hurt himself otherwise. He reminded Kang they had a tier 7 tower waiting. Park's idea of rest was definitely unique. Inside the tower, Park told his friend to get ready. He warned them of betrayal, secret feuds, and the organization's ultimate wickedness. The protagonist decided it was time to switch up the story's vibe, so they entered the Godfather and Alley Tower. Meanwhile, somewhere else, in a pouring rain, a woman handed an item to someone. She told him to finish the task before the upcoming meeting. The person took it, and she stressed that this was all for the sake of justice in their world. After that, the woman checked the time, only to find her watch had stopped. She grew sad. Her godfather had gifted it to her. Nearby, Kang and Park sought shelter from the downpour. She suddenly recognized them. She quickly called for help, explaining they were in Black York City and the Capone family faced a major crisis. The woman told them their job was to fix everything. She urged Kang and Park to follow her. She would lead them to her boss. As they walked, she explained that Black York answered to 5 powerful underworld families. She added that in just 4 days, a huge meeting was scheduled between several important companies. But recently, tragedy struck. The first godfather, former head of the Capone family, and many of his people were brutally killed. She shared her own story, explaining she grew up an orphan on the streets. She was lucky enough to awaken powers, but they weren't very useful until her godfather adopted her and changed her life. Kang, however, didn't seem too interested in her personal history. Anyway, she continued, during the attack, she only managed to save one person, the godfather's son, who was now the current head of the organization. As they entered the room, the boss greeted them. He proudly announced himself as the leader of the company and the head of the Capone family. Park, with a smirk, immediately called him the little boss. The boy instantly got annoyed. He declared that calling Vito Capone, a great boss and rightful family heir, little boss, was disrespectful. The woman quickly tried to soothe him. She explained these foreigners just didn't understand how to judge character, assuring him his presence as a boss commanded respect. With his ego now puffed up, the boy announced he was short on time and wanted to get straight to business. He then told Rebecca to begin the procedures. Kang, who hadn't spoken a word yet, just watched everything unfold. After a brief discussion, Rebecca summarized their goal. They needed to resurrect the Capone family. At the upcoming meeting with the 5 great families in 4 days, they had to grab massive attention. Plus, they needed to unmask the culprits and the mastermind behind the assassination of the former boss and his executives. Kang cut in, asking who they suspected. Rebecca responded that the most likely suspects were either a leader from one of the other great families or someone once part of their alliance. Their main suspect was Gambino. He was currently weak but seemed itching for a war. The protagonist casually looked over all the files. He then asked if he should just kill everyone involved. Rebecca thinks it's a great idea to just wipe out all their enemies. They'd have to do it eventually anyway, right? But Kang isn't so sure. He thinks the boss wouldn't go for it. Vito kind of agrees, explaining that the Capones have always been powerful, but truly peaked under his father's leadership. Vito has watched Rebecca for 20 years. He tells them her methods are the Capone family's core. There's no need for a new approach. Kang quickly reminds everyone that Vito is the boss, not Rebecca. He's the one calling the shots. Vito admits he knows Rebecca has more experience than him. The protagonist then asks Vito if he also wants to kill their rivals. Vito honestly replies that if their rivals aren't directly responsible, it's better to keep things as they are. So, Vito turns to Rebecca and asks if she can handle things his way. She's not thrilled, but she agrees, acknowledging him as the boss. Mission started. Park then suggests they check out the Callio family. They're the closest ones around. Kang jokes that Park is starting to look like a real villain. Park just shrugs. He says they have to try living like villains sometimes. After all, this whole world is just a game to them. Moments later, Callio family guards gear up for a fight. Who dared invade their turf? But they barely have time to think. The 2 friends strike. Park tells them to surrender now while they're still alive. Cooperate and they'll be spared. No way! The guards shout back. They'd never betray their family. All right then, Park says. You can die right now. Kang watches his friend, totally calm and collected. Suddenly, a much more nervous man rushes in. How dare they attack his family before the meeting? Park asks if this guy is the head of the Callio family. One of the men quickly replies, no, their boss wouldn't stoop this low. Then the new guy tells the protagonist to have fun with the henchmen. Kang is confused. The plan was for them to go together, but Park tells Kang that he came here to rest. So this time, Park will handle the job himself. Kang is surprised but agrees. He'll clear the path for Park to go ahead. Park pushes forward, declaring he'll take down the boss. The protagonist is left to deal with the rest of the henchmen. High above, someone watches his every move. Then, like a crow, the mysterious figure darts away. Inside the enemy's HQ, Park is busy clearing house. Suddenly, both he and the protagonist notice something flying nearby. Kang just sees a bunch of crows flying around. The Callio family was already taken care of in the last chapter. Now, the Gambino family is their next target. The protagonist watches the whole place get trashed. He thinks about Park, realizing it's been a while since he saw Park truly fight. Even though they might be similar, Kang prefers to keep that side of himself hidden from Park. He then pets Blackie and tells him to finish off everyone. Blackie the cat remarks that this is super convenient for Kang, who's just leaving all the tough work to him. Anyway, the pair eventually settles down and heads to a diner. Park needles Kang, calling him lazy. Apparently, ever since they got there, Kang only eats hamburgers, morning, noon, and night. The protagonist defends himself, claiming the burgers are the best he's ever had. He just wants to enjoy them as much as possible before heading back home. Park pushes back, mentioning other food choices, but Kang says he barely ever gets a break and doesn't want to waste it stressing over food. He quickly changes the topic, asking what the Gambino boss told Park. The manager simply says the boss knows nothing. Kang remembers Park asking him to handle this specific task, but the manager shrugs, stating the boss wouldn't do anything helpful at the meeting anyway. And speaking of that, the Gambino family boss is absolutely fuming. He makes call after call, but gets zero answers from either the Sanchez or the Falcons. This really worries him. He starts thinking their alliance might be completely shattered. Gambino is beyond furious, practically spitting fire, and he knows exactly who's responsible. He flashes back to Park's warning. Before leaving, Park told him that in 72 hours, his heart would stop and explode unless someone pressed a specific pressure point to restart it. Park had asked if the leader understood. That's when the boss agreed the Gambino family wouldn't join the meeting this time. Plus, he had agreed to help catch those who killed Capone. Park had then told him he was smart and would let him live this time before simply leaving. But the Gambino boss was still suffering terribly. Park's promised procedure hadn't happened yet, all because the meeting still hadn't taken place. Hearing all this, Kang simply states they've got nothing. The manager tries to reassure his friend, saying they'll definitely learn something at the meeting. He admits it's just a hunch, but he feels there's another player beyond the 5 great families. Sometime later, the big moment arrives. Families start pouring into the meeting place. They wait for everyone to get seated. Finally, a prominent figure, Marcellus, declares it's getting late. The Gambino family boss then points out that 2 families haven't even shown up. Vito immediately notices Falcone and Sanchez are missing. He instantly deduces they killed his father. Rebecca stops him. She tells him not to jump to conclusions, advising him to observe first. Vito agrees, calling her the wisest. Suddenly, someone bursts in with urgent news. Meanwhile, Park and Kang watch from a distance. The new guy reveals the Falcone and Sanchez bosses are dead. Kang realizes they have another enemy to deal with. Park comments that it's no wonder the 5 families seemed so weak. Kang starts to say he thought he was getting stronger, but Park cuts him off. Suddenly the lights cut out. A single spotlight hits the stage. A mysterious hooded figure appears. He declares it's perfect to have all the disgusting trash staining the city gathered together. He accuses them of dealing with corrupt politicians and exploiting workers through union manipulation. He calls them despicable criminals, always lying and causing chaos. The figure exposes all their crimes. He introduces himself as Night Knight. He declares he's here to deliver justice. Vito asks if this Night Raven killed the other bosses. Night Knight confirms it. He calls those villains cruel, saying their deaths were a small price. He adds that Vito's father faced the same fate. Night Knight then warns Vito he'll suffer the same, calling him a villain's son. Night Knight attacks. He throws sharp feathers like projectiles. Rebecca instantly protects Vito, telling him not to expose himself to danger. Vito shouts that Night Raven killed his father, and he wants revenge. Rebecca acknowledges his pain. She says a price must be paid for the sake of this world. Vito's system immediately alerts him. Anti-hero Nightcrow is executing justice. Kang chimes in, saying many villains deserve this punishment. He then unleashes dark magic and his familiar Blackie into the fight. Kang reveals a shocking truth. The true mastermind, Raiden King, was behind everything all along. Vito, the protagonist, hits Night Raven with his own dark magic, putting the adversary in a very tight spot. But Night Raven finds an opening and counterattacks. Blackie's voice rings out, warning that Vito might accidentally kill Night Raven. Kang, seeing his cat familiar Blackie struggling too much, thinks he needs to feed it better. Kang decides to jump into action immediately. Kang grabs his opponent by the cloak. He slams him with a blast of magic. Night Raven is hit with a Death Mark debuff, which also exposes his weaknesses. Vito then activates his Gossip keyword. This instantly shows him the target's full attribute window. It also lets him stack the Exposed Weaknesses debuff even further. This move accidentally spills all of Raven's secrets. His cloak radiates negative energy, his sharp feathers are a threat, and he's hiding a bunch of explosives. Raven has no clue he's fighting a dark clone of Kang, and that clone is watching his every move. Kang just can't believe this cosplay suicide bomber thinks he's a hero. Raven quickly realizes he's outmatched. He asks if Kang is a stranger, but gets no reply. So Raven takes action. He summons several Bond Ravens that explode anything in their path. Park is shocked, wondering why there are so many of them. Park is an expert in individual combat, but he sees Kang fighting Raven alone. Kang tells him the bosses are the Parks, and Park needs to protect them no matter what. Kang insists his friend is better at protecting than he is. Park doesn't agree with that, but Kang insists that killing is his specialty, and that's what he intends to do. Suddenly, Raven shouts that outsiders should be fighting for world peace. He demands to know why they're acting like puppets of evil. Kang just doesn't understand what Raven means by peace and union. Raven yells that he doesn't know how Kang's enemies fooled him. He calls them rotten villains and killers, claiming they murdered the Capone family. He says they bought their freedom from court, bribing powerful people in the city because they feared revenge. Raven declares this is the city's true nature, and that's why he and his comrades demand justice. Raven insists it's not too late. He fights for the city and justice. He tries to get Kang to join him against these villains, but Kang doesn't listen. He attacks Raven right in the middle of his speech. Kang tells him he talks too much instead of fighting, and he hates facing people who wear masks. But then Kang sees Raven's face. It's just a little boy. Raven warns Kang not to underestimate his justice. Then in a final desperate move, he triggers an explosive. Kang is caught completely off guard. Raven says the woman told him about this rendezvous point 3 days ago. He asks Kang how many explosives he thinks are planted around them. Kang is suddenly in the middle of an explosion, barely avoiding the blast. His friend appears, and the two escape thanks to Blackie's help. The explosion is visible from far away. The next day, after everything calms down, they regroup. Rebecca thanks them for their loyalty. She explains that thanks to them, most businesses from the meeting are now in the Capone family's hands. Kang tells her the boys survived and they won, just as she wanted. Rebecca agrees, stating their job is done. But Kang suddenly asks if this whole situation was actually part of her plan. Rebecca demands to know what that has to do with him. Kang declares his job is to wipe out all of the Capone family's enemies. He says Rebecca took part in the Godfather's murder. She even hired an anti-hero to kill the bosses of other families. That makes her an enemy. Rebecca claims he has no evidence. But Kang says Raven himself confessed. Raven told him Rebecca provided information about the family, proving she's a traitor. So she cleared out rivals, made the kid the new boss, and became the real power in Black York City. But Rebecca tries to deny it. She insists she did everything for Vito. She explains that Vito is super kind and innocent. She removed the Godfather, who forced him to train, and all other threats, just to shield him from the world's cruelty. Rebecca feels she was just doing her duty as a guardian. Kang fires back. He says she betrayed the man who saved her, then used his son as a puppet to become the queen of the night. Park steps in. He tells her she's no guardian. Her actions have made the kid totally helpless. She's only looking out for herself. Rebecca snaps back, saying no outsider has the right to judge her. Park then suggests they just ask Vito what he thinks. Rebecca freezes. Vito was listening the whole time. The boy starts to cry, finally hearing the full truth. She tries to explain, but Vito shocks everyone. He reveals his hidden powers and uses them to overpower her. Vito tells her she was right all along. This world is cruel. Mission accomplished. They head back home. Park complains about not getting a proper hero adventure. Kang, meanwhile, is just happy to go home without the press mobbing him. His friend even suggests doing it again. But then, his assistant arrives. She tells them there's a huge problem. The Tier 5 tower in Central Seoul is about to have a breakdown. Even our protagonist gets scared hearing that. This specific Tier 5 tower was attacked by association players. They failed the first raid and barely escaped, but a player points out they'll all get 3 penalties for that failure. That means demotion. Another player suggests a fix. Complete the challenge on hard difficulty. This freaks out the others. He argues they've worked too hard to get where they are. Everyone agrees. They won't go back to the bottom, won't be association slaves. So, they have to clear those penalties, and hard mode is the only way. They tried a second raid on hard. They were totally wiped out. On the way, Kang mentions he's heard how brutal the association's merit and penalty system is. He doesn't think it's fair at all. A tower breakdown is super rare. But strangely, during the first 2 seasons, this disaster happened constantly. Back then, raids had no real strategy. Failure was the norm. The consequences? Brutal. This caused countless deaths. It took many precious lives, including Kang's own family, both before he became a player and even after. But Kang knows things are different now. He decides to unlock all his uncollected equipment and skill packages. His current setup is strong, but he can't leave any room for error. No compromises. He prepares for something big, putting together a new skill deck. Soon, after a car ride, he arrives. The moment he steps out, people go wild. The Hero King is here to help, but Kang's mind is already on the brutal challenges ahead. He looks up. A black hole is tearing open in the sky. The already terrified crowd just gets even more panicked. Some players get ready to fight, but Kang steps forward. He tells everyone who meets certain conditions to get out right now. First, if you might accidentally fall into his skill, leave. Second, if you can't keep up, leave. And third, literally everyone else should leave. The other players get the message. They retreat, leaving Kang to work. Kang stands before a barrage of enemies. He acts fast, slicing through them all. He quickly realizes the place is crawling with bizarre creatures, more and more of them. He also spots something he's never seen before. Normally, enemies from a tower break are the people of the kingdom inside, but these monsters? They don't fit. They're completely irrelevant. He wonders where these things are even coming from. Then, a press helicopter zooms in, trying to cover the chaos. The journalist reports that while the Hero King is controversial, when it comes to his skills, he gets the job done. Kang gets a terrifying alert. The monarch of the abyss is awakening darkness from the depths. At the same time, the journalist reports the portal is changing color. They deduce this is a prelude to an abyss monster's arrival. Everyone wonders how an abyss monster is coming out of a tower. Kang quickly moves towards the helicopter. He tells them to get out before they're tossed straight into the monsters. As he pushes forward, he wonders if the monarch acted alone. Then, his system screams an alert. The abyss slime has appeared. Kang expected this. He immediately starts his attack, but wonders, will it be enough? He decides he needs to finish this in one hit. He charges an ice attack, mixing it with shadow skills and Charlotte's web. He connects 2 points, creating a web of death with extreme cutting power. Kang combines everything and crushes the abyss slime. He successfully stops the tower from breaking. The abyss monarch is so impressed, he even hands Kang a special gem as a reward. Back in the real world, the local press swarms him as usual. Everyone sees the Hero King stop the tower break all by himself. News of the incident explodes. Kang feels frustrated. He blames the association. He explains that the other players failed the raid, then got scared of penalties and fled. Their cowardice actually caused the tower break. The press immediately grills the association. They admit some fault, but quickly try to justify themselves. For Kang, all that matters is the media is now holding the association accountable. He celebrates this small victory with his friend, Park. Park insists they need to use this opportunity to purify the association. Kang jokingly asks if he plans to run for president. Park laughs it off, saying no. His real plan is to create a new guild. Kang immediately points out the law. It states each nation can only have one guild, making Park's idea nearly impossible. But Park fires back, saying this is exactly why they need to seize this moment and change that rule. He emphasizes the association's many absurdities. How can they set rules for towers when they've never even entered one themselves? Park adds that the association only promotes players with sponsorships, ignoring everyone else. He argues that with public opinion on their side, they can completely turn this situation around. Kang just wishes his friend good luck. But Park declares this is Kang's business too. Kang tries to argue, saying it's Park's duty, not his own. Park, however, completely disagrees. Park tells Kang that people are on the Hero King's side, so he insists Kang should be the one to create the guild. Soon after, a petition demanding the creation of another guild rockets passed 170,000 signatures. The existing guild naturally refuses to acknowledge it. Public opinion is clearly swinging towards the Hero King and veteran players, much to the association president's displeasure. The president is absolutely certain Kang and his manager are behind this whole movement. He claims they don't understand the real danger ordinary players pose to civilians. He points out that in some countries, lax governments let guilds link up with the underworld. He even mentions how some nations have become total dominions of dark players. Even the USA, which permits private player guilds, uses its military to control its strongest players. The president sees all players as walking bombs. Without perfect management, he believes, they become impossible to control. Therefore, he concludes that anyone against his stance is simply narrow-minded and doesn't truly grasp how the world works. Then his phone rings. His system flashes a message. The wicked monarch is watching him. It asks if the president wants to accept a tower challenge. Meanwhile, a commercial starts playing on screens everywhere. It's an old ad featuring our hero. People recognize his old armor from last season. They're all wondering why this ancient ad is still on air. Our protagonist, Kang, is actually thinking about that new guild. Park had really pushed him to create it, but Kang had seen a ton of problems with the idea. Park told Kang not to sweat the small stuff. He just needed to be the leader. His manager would handle all the busy work. Park insisted that to fix the world, they needed the Hero King. Kang was the only one who could do it. Kang thought about that. He also wondered why the Hero King always charged into battle first, before anyone else. Kang felt his true calling was clearing towers. He checked his system for towers at his level, but came up empty, so he turned off his GPS. He knew there were other ways into towers. Sometimes you just got an amulet and waited for the call. After his last mission, the boss dropped an amulet for him. Kang knew these amulets were the link between the tower world and reality, but he had a feeling he wouldn't get a call anytime soon. All he could do was wait. Suddenly, an alert blared across the entire city. A tower of departure was about to appear. Soon, everyone would watch the top-ranked players from Season 5 battle it out live. Kang didn't fully get it, but his system flashed a warning. The Clown Monarch was super excited for him to join. Across the globe, organizations scrambled. Information on this tower was non-existent, and everything was going live. But here's the kicker. If the players failed the challenge, 100 million random people would die. Kang was terrified at first, but then he realized this was exactly the motivation he needed. Suddenly, he was ready. He agreed to participate in this mysterious tower. Then, Kang and countless other players from across the world stepped into the tower at the same instant. Inside, Kang spotted some familiar faces. He told them he could barely contain his joy. It had been ages since he'd seen them all together. The Saint walked up to greet him. Kang immediately asked if she was in cosplay. She said no, then added that she liked seeing him in his normal version. He shot back, asking when he had ever been different. The Saint brought up the 7th tier tower raid. She had worried watching the broadcast because Kang looked completely exhausted. Kang realized she truly cared. He quickly reassured her, saying he was fine and wouldn't stop going on raids. Just then, another player walked over. This player told Kang that if he wasn't feeling well, he should leave now, adding that he was the last hero king. The so-called last hero king questioned how a top ranker like Kang could possibly be the final one to arrive. Kang shot back, explaining he couldn't worry about timing when 100 million lives were at stake. He then asked if the player was expecting some cheesy movie line, like the last guy to show up is the one who saves everyone. But the player pushed back, arguing that the first ones to arrive always face the most danger. Kang wasn't having it. He totally provoked the guy, asking if he'd rehearsed that speech. Kang basically accused him of faking it, claiming he didn't care at all and was just pretending. Naturally, the player didn't take kindly to this, and they both quickly escalated into a full-blown argument. Suddenly, an older player stepped in, cutting them off. Kang immediately challenged him, demanding to know why he dared show up without the right equipment. The older man calmly replied that it wasn't the start of the season yet. He genuinely believed no one would die in this particular tower, reminding them the whole world was watching. Right after that, the system chimed in with an alert. It announced that everyone would temporarily receive a full 5th season end gear set until they left the tower. Skills and equipment immediately began distributing among the group. The old man, who introduced himself as Jork, the gravedigger and CEO of an artifacts company, said this gear would make the chance of anyone dying even lower. With York's help, the players felt their power grow, ready for action. Then, a woman approached Maria, shaking her head in disbelief. This was Lydia, an international master player and a police member. She couldn't believe they were playing mind games at such a critical moment, quipping that men's maturity really had no limits. The Saint reminded them they needed to understand how many lives depended on the success of this tower raid. Suddenly, Lieutenant General Kilgore from the US joined the conversation, declaring that everyone must fulfill their duties to the planet and their nations. The gravedigger warned everyone to be extremely careful with their actions in this place. Kang, though, muttered that they should have just broadcasted the Pestilence Lord raid instead. Just then, a new figure appeared, greeting them and apologizing for the delay. The masked individual announced that this was a festival for them, a symbol to appreciate the heroes who killed the Pestilence Lord. He then officially welcomed all the assembled heroes. Kang immediately challenged him, asking why he was celebrating a monarch's death when they were supposedly friends. The masked figure then advised the Hero King not to provoke the monarchs. He even asked if Kang preferred the title Monarch Slayer, a name Kang earned by eliminating the season's boss. However, the Red Guardian, clearly in competition with Kang, absolutely refused to acknowledge that some brat had won that title and felt something needed to be done about it. Regardless, the masked figure insisted this was a celebration in honor of the players and hoped they wouldn't feel stressed. But the Red Guardian instantly attacked the masked man, yelling if this was some kind of joke. He declared it was impossible to consider 100 million lives as a celebration. Kang just watches, finding the Red Guardian pathetic. He figures the guy is only doing this to look good for the public. The masked man then tells the Red Guardian his attacks are pointless anyway. They're all nullified, so he's just wasting energy. With a snap, he announces it's time to explain the tower rules. He tells all the viewers watching to vote for their favorite player. Soon, the broadcast viewers will decide who becomes the tower's hero. Kang immediately gets annoyed, complaining they could totally rig the votes. But the masked man quickly covers Kang's mouth. He warns Kang to be careful what he says, reminding him they have strict rules to follow. The masked man explains their mission is simple. style. Grab the viewer's interest and keep them entertained. How they do it is totally up to them. Each player's individual votes will turn into points, but if the vote count is too low, or if they just can't keep people watching, the raid fails. And a failed raid means millions will die. So, the masked man tells them all to get moving. They need to use everything they've got to create an interesting show for the world. Right after that, the Red Guardian and the Swordmaster challenge the Hero King to an arena duel. Kang quickly asks why he even needs to fight. The masked man explains he can't reject an opponent's challenge. He adds that even if someone dies in the arena, they'll just be reborn there anyway. He then creates the arena, telling the players they can't leave until the tower's voting finishes. Before the fight even starts, the protagonist has a quick question. He asks the Red Guardian if he really wants another fight after getting crushed last time. The Red Guardian replies that if he can't beat the protagonist, all his votes will be worthless. He declares he'll make up for his past loss on the first day of the season. Filled with pure rage, he charges. Kang, meanwhile, decides to stir things up. He provokes the Red Guardian, saying hitting rock bottom must feel awful. The Red Guardian takes the bait, attacking with even more furious intensity. He uses the lone sword of the Nine. The other players are completely shocked. The protagonist is actually holding his own against the Red Guardian, and he's not just using his own sword. He's also somehow using the Red Guardian's exact same skills. The Gravedigger immediately thinks this has to be a skill copy. Even the Red Guardian notices it. He wonders if the Hero King made a contract with the Monarch of Mirrors. The Red Guardian claims he devoted his entire life to that sword, so he just can't understand how the protagonist is winning this duel against him. Outside the arena, the Gravedigger watches the Hero King fight and finds it magnificent. He then asks how any of them could possibly kill the king. Lydia questions why he's saying that, since he's not even fighting the Hero King, but the Gravedigger tells her she needs glasses. He points out that the real threats to the Hero King seem to be the other players themselves. Lydia realizes this and can't believe they're still acting like this given the situation. Meanwhile, the Saint is the only one truly bothered by everything. The Saint understands that 100 million lives depend entirely on this tower's outcome. But the other players? They only cared about one thing: beating the Hero King and climbing to the very top. Maria remembered Kang's speech. He'd said that even if the world was ending tomorrow, people would still be fighting each other. And now, Maria realized he was absolutely right. In the first 2 seasons, everyone entered the tower solely to save the world, but those days were gone. Maria couldn't help but wonder why. She thought about it. Players grew stronger every season, sure, but the tower tiers also climbed annually. And the bosses? They were getting ridiculously powerful. The idea of everyone uniting to save the world felt like a total fairy tale now. Maria admitted she wasn't that innocent young girl who just awakened anymore. Races were different, religions were different, skin colors were different. But if people couldn't unite even in a game with the world's destruction on the line, Maria wondered how they could ever save it for real. Meanwhile, back in the fight, the Red Guardian found all this seriously strange. The game was unfair, yes, but he felt like he understood the protagonist. No matter how strong the Hero King was, there had to be a reason for it. He figured Kang was hiding a secret. The Guardian concluded that if he could just uncover Kang's true power, he could definitely beat him. At this point, the Red Guardian didn't even care about winning or losing. He just wanted to uncover the secret of his opponent's immense strength, but he wasn't exactly winning. Kang told him he seemed to have forgotten his place, considering how easy Kang had been going on him. That statement completely stunned the Red Guardian. Kang seized the moment, attacking him with even more force. The Red Guardian quickly realized his opponent had way more secrets than he'd ever imagined. Then, Kang declared he was about to show the true difference to anyone who dared to fight him again. Immediately, Kang unleashed a devastating ground attack. It ripped through a huge part of the battlefield. The Red Guardian was completely shocked. He had so many other plans, but now everything was going sideways. Then, Kang activated his secondary deck. He burst forth from a sandstorm looking completely different. Everyone watching was absolutely stunned. At this point, the Red Guardian completely lost faith in his own victory. That's because the protagonist manifested a mythical ability, the manifestation of the Celestial Demon. Kang transformed into a Celestial Demon, wielding 3 formidable Celestial Demon swords. He entered his first form, tearing open a dimensional chasm of raw power. It sliced through his opponent from multiple directions, leaving the Red Guardian gushing. Next, Kang activated the second form of the 3 Celestial Demon swords, known only as Destruction. The other players are stunned. The Red Guardian went down way too fast. The masked man declares the match over. He praises the Hero King for a magnificent fight, just as he expected. Then he announces voting has begun. The numbers climb, but the red player stays stuck at 0. Kang acts like it's nothing, but he looks super villainous now. His whole vibe is dark. Even the Gravedigger is taken aback. Kang Yusung is completely unrecognizable. Even the girls are startled seeing him, but the audience loves watching Kang. Some players notice Kang copied the Gravedigger's gear and skills. Two friends chat. One asks how Kang can even be human like them. His friend corrects him, saying Kang kept them all alive. The first friend asks what they should call Kang. The other says he's simple, the hero king. Kang then asks the other players about their stunned faces. He asks if they've never seen his copying ability before. The Gravedigger points out that Kang's copying ability alone can't explain the celestial demon manifestation. Lydia agrees. She says this isn't just a simple copy. She's fought another copy user before, the Face Collector, a terrible black player who hides his rank. He copied opponents by literally slicing off their faces and using them. Lydia admits Kang's skill is similar, but says there are limits to mere copying. Kang explains he obviously has more than just a copying ability. He asks if they're that curious, since they're both trying to keep poker faces. He agrees to tell them one thing. Kang then drops his biggest secret. He made a pact with a monarch of truth. That's why he can only speak the truth, even as the world shifts around him. The Gravedigger, Jork, looks at Kang's appearance and figures he'll be his next opponent, but Kang shoots back that he hates fighting more than anything. He also hates aggressive idiots. York Billmeyer, clearly not knowing his place, demands to know what Kang is planning. Kang states that from now on, he'll convince the audience with one simple truth. The masked man interrupts, arguing that self-promotion is crucial for voting. Then the stage moves. Kang gets ready to speak. He taps the mic, asking if everyone is paying attention. He declares they have no choice anyway. Then he sees his own face on TV and changes the channel himself. Regardless, he announces 10 heroes are gathered in the tower. Everyone needs to vote for one. If votes are too low, 100 million people get a one-way trip to oblivion, so everyone better understand how important voting is. Kang points out that even the worst terrorists became presidents with enough votes. If things go wrong, the same could happen to their heroes. The Gravedigger tried to warn Kang to watch his words, but Kang wasn't having it. He shot back, asking what the problem was, and if the Gravedigger was annoyed about the talk of heroes losing relevance. Kang pointed out how strange it was that people still revered these national heroes so much, especially after everything that had gone down between them. Then, noticing the old man's discomfort, Kang sarcastically asked if the Gravedigger's dream of reviving the Third Empire was supposed to be a secret. The Gravedigger immediately demanded to know how Kang dared to insult someone without any evidence, but Kang just smirked. He had a contract with the Monarch of Truth, remember? That meant he could expose anyone's lies and secrets. He declared everything he'd said was absolutely 100% true, no arguments. So Kang urged everyone watching to vote carefully and choose wisely. He warned them. It wasn't just one or two lunatics hiding among the players, and then he dropped a name, Count Vladimir. Count Vladimir was clearly blindsided. He stammered, claiming he had no idea what Kang was talking about. But Kang just raised an eyebrow. He said that was odd, especially since Vladimir himself had spoken about reviving the Empire. Vladimir frantically tried to shut Kang up, but that just fueled Kang more. He kept going, exposing all the Count's dirty laundry, live, for everyone to see. Kang even taunted him. If something bothered Vladimir, he should just wait for his turn to show off his own magic. The Count roared back, declaring he wouldn't tolerate this humiliation any longer, not with his parents and president watching. Kang then added that Vladimir was quite a devout man, even though he had a powerful fire attribute. Next, Kang went after Lieutenant General Kilgore. He claimed Kilgore also loved to play with fire, not just metaphorically. He was talking about Kilgore's secret habit of dropping bombs on enemy countries. Kilgore got super nervous, asking Kang if he truly understood the consequences of his words. Kang responded with a firm yes. He declared that for real world-saving heroes, a nationalist lunatic like the Gravedigger, an imperialist like Count Vladimir, and a war fanatic like Kilgore were all just opportunists. And Kang warned that people definitely wouldn't be happy to hear that. Kilgore, furious, tried to attack Kang, but Kang blocked him instantly, asking what the hell that was about. Kilgore shot back, asking if Kang was underestimating him. Oh, if only he knew, because Kang was about to show him the best fighter jets. The girls watching yelled out, saying this crazy general was trying to kill Kang. Kilgore unleashed his exclusive ability, Fit Entra Diablo, but he froze. Shocked, Kang had done the exact same thing. Kilgore stared, demanding to know how Kang had copied his move. Kang just shrugged, replying that the ability wasn't so exclusive after all. Then, George Bellmeyer, the Gravedigger, stepped forward. He asked if the Hero King thought he'd be okay after slandering and attacking the honor of his comrades. Kang just shot back, asking if George even considered them comrades. How could comrades try to stab him in the back at the very first opportunity? The Gravedigger quickly claimed it was all just a misunderstanding, but Kang wasn't buying it. He reminded them again about his contract with the Monarch of Truth. He knew all their secrets. He pointed out they'd been doing whatever they wanted for ages, But now that they were on camera, they suddenly got bothered. Kang challenged them, asking why they were so worried now. That wasn't like them, and he promised he could keep speaking the truth all day. Everyone already knew the world wouldn't change a thing. George Bellmeyer then asked if the Hero King would blame the world like a spoiled brat. Kang shot back that he was a child and couldn't handle dealing with old men. This attitude totally pleased the clown monarch, who then granted the protagonist a wish. Right after, the celestial demon manifested. The gravekeeper just watched, wondering what the protagonist was even trying to do. Meanwhile, Kang knew his wish was granted and about to come true. The masked man announced the protagonist's time was up. He said it was time for another hero to speak, because everyone deserved a chance. Maria stepped forward, saying she also had something important to tell the public. The masked man then changed the setting, telling Maria she could speak freely. The protagonist thought her chosen setting was pretty weird, but the saint cut him off, telling him to stop talking, because it was her turn now. Kang didn't back down, calling her darling just to get a rise out of her. Maria then declared she would show the world the real Hero King right then and there. That line hit hard. The entire audience got super anxious, including Kang Yu-sung himself. He tried to interfere, but Maria just shot back a taunt, asking darling what was wrong. Kang then wondered if it was too late to apologize. After her speech, the tower was finally complete, and vote results were about to drop. The protagonist checked the data, scratching his head about the votes until he realized they were totally manipulated, but he didn't really care, because he'd won what he thought was rightfully his. His system then popped up, confirming he'd gotten the celestial demon manifestation. Now he had all 3 divine relics, the mythological equipment, the title, and a brand new skill. Only 3 months had passed, and he hadn't even opened the mythological equipment called Black Death, which he won after beating the Pestilence Lord. See, mythological skills and weapons aren't for just anyone. You need to be qualified. Fail the test, and your stats drop, or you just die. Even the Red Guardian got a huge penalty just for losing a challenge once. But the protagonist had tried this before. In the last season, he figured he could totally equip his new gear now. He thought he could swap his weapon later, and using the skill now would be a huge advantage. So, he activated the celestial demon manifestation for the first time. His system immediately warned him he'd have to prove his worth. Suddenly, protagonist is zapped to another place. An old man stands before him, ready to test his worth. Kang tells him he's here to make a deal and hopes it'll be quick, just like last season. The system confirms the test has begun. He needs to block 2 basic moves from the celestial demon. The opponent gets ready to strike. Protagonist immediately notices something off. The old man attacks with the celestial demon's triple sword from the very first move. It's incredibly fast, but Kang manages to defend, barely. He admits this is pretty exciting and confirms he's faced this before. The opponent attacks again. Once more, protagonist blocks it. But this time, the energy from the impact is massive. The old man actually feels it. He then sheaths his sword, realizing protagonist now holds a new title. Protagonist asks if he means the Monarch Slayer title. The old man confirms, asking if protagonist truly earned it. Kang says yes. Since the test is over, he asks if the old man will always appear when he summons the celestial demon. The old man is still reeling from the news. Protagonist asks if something's wrong, but the old man simply says he likes Kang. Then, the entire scenario begins to move. Protagonist demands to know why. His opponent ignores him. Instead, he lunges forward, telling Kang to demonstrate his swordsmanship. They're fighting again, but protagonist has no idea why. He thought the test was over. The elder doesn't stop. Kang begs him to stop, warning that he'll kill him if this continues. The old man says protagonist's sword is still enchanted. He asks if protagonist used it to kill the monarch, warning that he won't be recognized as a winner if that's the case. Kang fires back, asking how else he was supposed to defeat the celestial demon with his own abilities. He explains that if he could use that sword, he would have and wouldn't have journeyed to seek greater power. Surprisingly, the old man seems to agree. Then, the celestial demon announces he'll test him in another way. He slams his foot down so hard it causes another earthquake. After that, he dives back into the fight, but this time, it's hand-to-hand combat. Kang doesn't understand why the old man is going so far, and just wants a reason. The opponent finally reveals why. Protagonist killed a monarch. He claims the answer protagonist seeks might be within Kang Yu-sung himself. Protagonist is terrified, but the celestial demon gives him no time. He whips out his triple sword again, challenging protagonist to try and stop it. Kang is completely disoriented, caught in a situation he wasn't ready for. He's super confused after the attack. He sees no injury, no sign of a cut. He doesn't even know what his opponent struck. The celestial demon explained he'd spent his whole life searching the world for a fighter who could beat him. But no matter where he went, he never lost. He simply couldn't understand what defeat felt like, not even when death itself came calling. The Reaper chased him, yet the demon still couldn't find anyone strong enough to finally take him down. He started to wonder if such a person even existed. Every Mirim master from every country and empire, even God's Reaper, they all fell short against his sword. He quickly realized everything was useless against him, but this was his first time meeting a mortal who actually killed a monarch. It made him question if Kang was truly different or just another easy win. He wanted to know what this meant for Kang. The demon's words made Kang reflect. His whole life flashed before his eyes. Then he remembered what the saint had said in the tower. She had told him he was kinder than anyone could imagine, with an unbelievably soft heart. She also called him a crybaby and a coward, even a pampered child when his friends died. He'd cried non-stop for a whole week after learning about the sacrifices made when a raid failed. All the saint did was listen to his endless complaints. Remembering this made Kang feel isolated. Then, the celestial demon stated that Kang would eventually find an answer. Kang asked what answer he even wanted. Was it the meaning of defeat, the meaning of death, or even the meaning of life itself? The celestial demon was actually surprised Kang was still alive. But then, he kept recalling what the saint had said. Because no matter what, she insisted Kang never gave up. It didn't matter how painful or scary things got, or how much he was hurt. Kang just kept fighting for the world. Even if it all meant nothing in the end, Kang argued that you can only break what's real, not what's intangible. A meaning was no different. He asked if this wasn't the core principle of the celestial demon's triple sword technique. The celestial demon then revealed that he had actually died a long time ago. So, he argued, he couldn't defeat a meaning that didn't even exist. The demon couldn't believe Kang was claiming to be on his level. If Kang truly understood meaninglessness, he couldn't possibly be the hero king. He questioned if Kang was just an idiot, trying to protect something utterly meaningless. Kang replied he wasn't doing it out of duty, but because his actions were meaningless. He pointed out that heroes save the world constantly, working tirelessly to defend their plane. But the other side? They had all sorts of lunatics coming for them, endlessly attacking. The celestial demon then asked what on earth could be more meaningless than that. He even agreed that it was all pointless. So he put his sword away, telling Kang he looked forward to their next meeting. Right after that, the system declared Kang a worthy player. He just went home, figuring this was just how a hero's life went. His system then announced he could now use the true manifestation of the celestial demon, but then Kang suddenly collapsed, startling his cat. Later, Kang was checking his temperature. Blackie, his cat, wondered why he seemed so weak. Kang quickly denied it, insisting he wasn't weak and that his stats were the best globally. The cat kept asking why he was sick, but Kang swore he was fine. He was just mad about the internet chatter. He said he needed to clear an 8 or 9 tier tower to cool off. Blackie then pointed out that those towers didn't even exist yet. Kang checked his calendar. It was only March. He remembered from previous seasons that higher tier towers usually started appearing, but that was still a month away. Plus, these advanced towers weren't even in his country's territory. Once unlocked, he could jump right in, just like in his games. For now, he wanted to hit a 7-tier tower, but Blackie told him he wasn't going anywhere, claiming it was for his own good. Despite that, Kang snuck off to a 3-tier tower shortly after. He got there and noticed it looked just like the tower he cleared at the season's start. He told himself he wasn't there for anything special, he just needed to blow off some steam. He got ready to use his new power, thinking how silly ability names always were. But as he summoned the manifestation of the celestial demon, a weird feeling washed over his body. His system flashed a warning. The celestial demon was influencing him. Then, Kang's body started twisting, and he even coughed up blood. Of course, he immediately blamed the old man who gave him this power. His system then announced the receptacle was complete and adjustments were starting. While screaming in agony, Kang couldn't believe he'd actually gained the celestial demon's power permanently. His system then confirmed he'd acquired the celestial demon bone blessing. He wondered if his whole body had changed. Moments later, he saw the bone transformation firsthand. Turns out, it was all happening inside him. It doesn't affect his exterior. Then, the system warns him. The ground just collapsed, linking him to the second floor. Suddenly, a bunch of orcs show up and attack him. This was perfect for Kang. He finally had a chance to test his new power. After he crushes them all, he notices a third basic move he didn't have before. He wonders why this move has no name, or why it wasn't part of the original ancient skill. Then it hits him. It's the Void Sword, the same one the celestial demon used against him. Now Kang has this power too. He wonders how much of it he can really use. He's about to find out because he spots a gate. He wants to go in once it opens. The synchronization rate is stuck at 1%. His system screams, "A merger with the death-throned monarch, the Sword Monarch, is happening." Kang never saw this coming. The system says the Lord of Penance is trying to stop this ritual. Kang then wonders if the celestial demon was a monarch too. He remembers the celestial demon saying he searched for the supreme fighter, someone who had made him taste defeat. And that was the first time Kang had met a mortal who killed a monarch. Kang quickly connects the dots. Was that why the celestial demon acted so strangely? Because Kang killed someone like him? As he processes this, his system warns that several monarchs are secretly watching him. The clown monarch stares with an empty look. Kang is pretty surprised. The clown asks him why he's so serious. Kang just walks through the gate. He thinks these monarchs can be pretty terrifying. Anyway, he's in the boss room now. Time to face the big guy. The boss tells Kang to give him an honorable fight, then die. Kang plans to do just that. Well, except for the dying part. With a single hit from his new skill, he shatters the boss into countless pieces. He finally sees the true power of the celestial demon. But afterward, a sharp pain hits him. He has no idea why. He wonders if he overdid it with the skill. Kang realizes his body can't handle this ability yet. These different powers are clashing inside him. Suddenly, he hears the celestial demon's voice in his head, saying nothing in this world makes sense. He wonders if it's just a memory. Kang decides the power's origin doesn't matter. It's his now. He uses his frozen sword, channeling the celestial demon's power, and somehow, he controls it. Kang sighs in relief. He even finds it amusing. Kang gets back to the real world and calls Park. His friend asks what's up. Kang vents, saying he's so mad he might just move to France. Park, confused, asks why he called. Kang clarifies it's nothing big, he just needs a training partner. Park jokes, asking when the National Intelligence Agency started working for the Hero King. Kang quips back, suggesting they rename the agency Hero King & Co. Park doesn't find it funny. Park cuts to the chase, demanding to know the conditions. Kang explains, the others can prepare however they want. He'll only use one ability, the Celestial Demon Manifestation. No secondary decks, no artifacts, no synergy, and Blackie is staying out of this fight completely. Park asks if Kang won't use his Ice Blacksmith or his other usual weapons. Kang replies he's about to equip something right now. Park gets a sudden chill. Then Kang equips it, and everyone is stunned. He's not just holding a new weapon, he's got a whole new look. Manager Park and the others are completely taken aback. As Kang equips the new weapons, acidic drops hit the floor, causing gasps, especially when he takes them up, matching his new appearance. Park sees it all, up close, and asks if this is the power of the Lord of Pestilence. Park tries to talk to Kang, but gets no response. The manager starts getting worried. He asks if Kang even passed the exam. Kang finally changes his posture, answering with a firm yes, stating he'd never fail something so simple. Park and the others finally breathe a sigh of relief. Kang's new look had really freaked them out. These swords, called Black Death, are from the Lord of Pestilence, and boast incredibly strong attributes. After showing them off, Kang rushes everyone to enter the tower. Kang explains that besides these new weapons and the celestial demon's descent, he has nothing else. Park then makes him promise one thing: no cruel deaths for the boys. Kang agrees, assuring him he'll go easy. Inside, Kang walks to the middle of the arena, ready for battle. He announces that once the fireworks launch, the fight begins. They can attack whenever they're ready. He trusts the Assassin's Department is skilled enough to make this worthwhile. Immediately, they charge. But Kang doesn't stand still. He retaliates, dropping several opponents instantly. Some of them are tougher than usual, but Kang keeps them at bay. Manager Park spots a chance, attacking from a distance while Kang is busy. But Kang isn't that distracted. He sees his friend moving high above. Park unleashes his heart crusher, but Kang just laughs it off, saying he won't fall for that old trick. But Park grins confidently, then vanishes. Suddenly, a barrage of canes rockets towards Kang. He barely manages to dodge the deadly projectiles. But hold on, those canes weren't just projectiles. Strong wires actually connected them, letting other assassins walk across the air. Kang's impressed by the tactic, but he instantly counterattacks. This is Charlotte's web, and whoever's behind it is a genius, because next the webs snatch up floor plates, sending them flying. Kang realizes his enemies are closing in. Dark spikes erupt from the ground, so he leaps into the air. He still doesn't know who's controlling this crazy web, so he decides to find the source. Suddenly, he spots a girl. It's Haya, their best disciple. She doesn't back down from the Hero King, though. She challenges him, asking if he's seriously going to fight her all by himself. Kang readies his new daggers. From a distance, he unleashes their power, creating a massive energy blast that rips through his opponents. He explains that his twin daggers double their effect. Kang strides through the air, even taking a moment to admire his handiwork. Down on the ground, everyone's out cold, even Manager Park. Park is stunned, genuinely thinking he was about to die. Kang suggests they call off the training. His friend readily agrees, admitting they can't continue. He points out Kang completely wrecked the place, then asks if Kang has ever considered world domination. Kang just wants to know why the sudden topic change. Park claims that, in his opinion, the first Hero King could totally do it since no one could ever match him. But Kang cuts him off, insisting they need to leave fast. Once outside, Park gets the others' attention. After all, they're only down because they passed out from the defeat. Park tells Kang he can always count on them if he ever needs to sharpen his skills skills again. Just then, Kang's system goes off. The alternative history tower is calling him, and not just that, Lieutenant General Kilgore is asking for his help. Kang remembers their last encounter, a live broadcast fight. He finds it pretty shameful that Kilgore is asking him for help. Still, he figures if he refuses and a tower break happens, things would be way worse. Kang declares he's ready for action. His friend asks if he really has to leave right this second. Kang confirms, saying he's heading straight for the United States. Park isn't thrilled about Kang just taking off, wondering what's really going on, but Kang ignores it, heading straight for the tower. He finds Kilgore, who looks incredibly anxious. Kang walks up, asking since when Kilgore got so interested in the tower's inner world. Kilgore jumps, shocked to see Kang there. He wonders how Kang even showed up, positive this tower isn't linked to South Korea. Kang immediately calls him out, asking how he can deny begging for help. Kilgore quickly fires back, insisting he'd never ask for help from someone like Kang. Kang instantly realizes his monarch tricked him. He admits his mistake, apologizing, but then points out that since he's already here, he might as well help Kilgore out. Just then, his system pops up an alert. It says armed fighters, battling enemies of freedom, are looking for an opportunity. Kilgore, softening up, thanks Kang for offering help. He declares that even in a tower world, as someone from a nation built on freedom, forgiveness isn't on the table. He adds that Kang is definitely a good player, and just this once, he'll team up. Kang remarks that in situations like these, Kilgore always cooperates quietly. But Kang also knows the general is truly conflicted by global destruction, and thinks this whole mess could actually be a good thing. He explains that when facing a tyrant, everyone suddenly unites for a common cause. But Kang, who absolutely despises imperialism, brings up that Kilgore once worked alongside a gravedigger outside the tower. Kilgore clearly doesn't appreciate that jab. Kang continues, pointing out that even if Kilgore hated the gravedigger, the fact he joined forces proves Kang genuinely scares the general. He then warns Kilgore, betray him one more time, and there'll be zero forgiveness. With that, the two head off on their mission. The onlookers watch them like they're gods. Kang quickly gets into character as Kilgore demands these new men reveal who they are. Their captain steps forward, introducing himself as Lieutenant Aldo Pitt. He commands a unit called the Bastards, part of the domestic forces of the nation of Kitten from the Free Alliance. Kang, looking around, asks how they ended up here instead of a military camp. Kilgore takes over, asking about the current situation. Aldo explains that the damned Pugsy Empire has completely surrounded their base. Kang just shrugs, saying that was pretty much expected. They're deep in enemy territory, right? So the protagonist glances outside and gets a shock. The enemies aren't necromancers, Aldo quickly explains. Necromancers are usually the top-tier troops, so they always place themselves right in the middle of the action. These guys aren't messing around. Kilgore tells them to let the enemies take their time. His team has one mission: wipe out every single one of them. This goal really hypes up the general. He announces he'll explain the plan to his allies right now. Kilgore declares they'll go out and kill every enemy in their path. He also orders them to show absolutely no mercy. With that, they charge out completely hyped for the fight. The Pugsy Empire's elite squad has the field completely surrounded. The general joins his team, but the men are shocked to see him fighting with just a shield. Kilgore tells them to follow him, promising the shield will protect them all. They follow, shouting about fighting for freedom. The protagonist thinks it feels great to be free, but he just watches Kilgore and the others do all the work. They absolutely massacre the enemy army. From a rooftop, Kang spots something fishy. He goes to investigate and quickly takes down the enemy snipers. On the ground, Kilgore handles the soldiers. He sees Kang giving them air support from above, while he and the others fight below. The protagonist jumps from rooftop to rooftop, clearing out snipers. Then Kilgore comes over to him. He reminds the protagonist that he told him to be ruthless. Kang replies that as long as they're dead, he's happy. But the general disagrees strongly. He says every enemy soldier must suffer. He wants a brutal death for every enemy on the field. This way, any survivors will know exactly who they're up against and terror will spread. The protagonist thinks the general sounds like a movie villain. Suddenly, an enemy air invasion begins. His allies are terrified, but not the general. He declares he'll show them true air power. Kilgore then uses his summoning skills, just like he did against Kang in the tower. He summons his F-23s, codenamed Diablo. An intense air battle kicks off. But the enemy jets stand no chance. The F-23s absolutely obliterate them all. The Allies cheer for their victory. They celebrate, thanking the players for the win. Kilgore tells them to remember their duty, what it takes to keep the peace. The protagonist thinks it's all nonsense, but the general insists that war is the only way to peace. Kang immediately shot back, arguing that real peace comes from not fighting, but the general wasn't budging. Anyway, the Continental Conquest Tower was finally clean. Meanwhile, across the world, a powerful player stood face to face with his enemies. This was the Gravedigger, and he declared his work was finally done. But to truly bring his twisted ideology to life, he had a request for the immortal monarch. He wanted to delay this specific moment in history. The monarch allowed him this small moment of self-indulgence, and just like that, the Gravedigger's return was put on hold. The Gravedigger promised to prove his loyalty to the monarch very soon. Meanwhile, back with our heroes, the general kept insisting that starting wars before the enemies did was the only way to find peace. With that, he ordered even more attacks. But the protagonist started to wonder if they weren't actually attacking Allied territory. They kept pushing forward. Kilgore mentioned how much he loved the smell of napalm in the morning. Kang pointed out the whole place just reeked of gasoline, but the general snapped back, saying that was exactly what he meant. He called it the smell of victory. The protagonist found the general's attitude pretty pathetic. Kilgore then asked Lieutenant Aldo Pitt for the enemy command base location. Aldo reported it was currently in the Pao-He Empire, specifically in the nation of Kitten, inside a skyscraper in the city of White York. Kilgore was shocked, asking if the very heart of the Alliance had become an enemy command base. Aldo confirmed it, adding that even the crest of Liberty had been replaced with their Governor-General's statue. This news sent the general into a furious rage. He declared he would tear down that statue himself. As they tried to advance, they hit a roadblock. The 3rd Occultist Battalion, the Pao-He Empire's elite team, was ready for an ambush. Kang stepped forward, saying he would handle this. Kilgore quickly decided they would take a detour and head straight for the enemy command base. But the necromancers weren't going to let them leave that easily. The protagonist saw the situation and called Blackie to help in the battle. However, the cat refused to devour these zombies, claiming they tasted bland. Kang realized these zombies were actually detainees from a detention center, transformed into undead. Now he understood their teeth gnashing. He wondered aloud why the world had so many madmen. But his cat quickly told Kang he wasn't one to talk. Blackie asked if what the protagonist did was any different from what these people did. Kang tried to argue back, insisting their actions were completely different. Blackie simply stated that humans just made their lives more complicated. Kang eventually agreed that humans were indeed different. Anyway, he decided to take on the zombies by himself. He charged into battle alone. His system pops up an alert. A zombie fungus is now on his weapon. Kang keeps slashing away at the undead. Soon, the zombies he hits suddenly turn on their masters, shooting the very necromancers who summoned them. The cultists try to run, try to hide, but their own zombies devour them alive. Kang just watches the chaos when someone walks up and asks if he finally gets how strong necromancy is. The mortician wonders who would even believe the hero king caused all this mess. Kang points out there's an American general around too. Turns out it's George Bellmeyer, the honorary leader, and he's not happy about Kilgore being in his territory. But then he tells Kang to forget it and shows off his uniform, bragging that even though it's not like real-world uniforms, it's still super cool. Kang immediately tells the old man to act his age and stop being so childish. He even adds that the uniform looks like something a terrorist would wear. The mortician spots Kang's celestial demon powers, but declares he won't lose. He then shifts into the stance of the Lord of the Grave. Kang asks how a busy CEO like him got a legendary ability. The old man has the same question, seeing the hero king with the Lord of Pestilence's lamp. He states Kang isn't just some common celestial demon descendant. He even claims that magic lamp should have been his. Ready for the fight, Kang switches to his secondary deck, swapping Waking the Dead for Ice Smith. Jerk asks if Kang thinks he doesn't need a monarch's power to fight him. Kang replies there's no point in fighting a necromancer. Jerk then shoots back that the hero king's tongue got pretty sharp while they were apart. They know monarchs are watching, so the fight begins. The old man's power immediately cancels out the poison Kang used on the zombies, completely consuming it. He declares that ashes are destined to return to ashes. The old man sends an army of skeletons, but Kang activates an ability and equips darkness. His system screams an alert. Kang's evasion and dexterity just shot way up. Jerk knows he's up against someone resistant to darkness. He also knows his skeletons aren't that strong, but claims he can see everything from his spot. He even argues necromancers aren't bad in close combat, but as he attacks, he realizes Kang used an illusion spell. The ice sword, though, is very real. Kang tells him that what he sees isn't everything. Kang figured the old man trusted invisible beings and wants to test that out. The old man gets totally annoyed, wondering why he, of all people, had to run into the Hero King. He really thought it was foolish to waste such a rare chance. Next time, he'd definitely win. But then, a strange feeling hit him. He quickly realized there might not be a next time. He doubted himself. Players weren't supposed to really kill each other inside the tower, right? But the doubt just ate at him. The old man screamed in pure despair. His system suddenly flashed a warning. The immortal monarch had blocked York's path out of the tower. Meanwhile, our protagonist, Kang, was totally mocking the defeated monarch. The immortal monarch standing among the other monarchs took a huge hit. Kang felt a real thrill seeing the other monarchs react. Then his system popped up. He had cleared the alternate history of the tower, and for that, he received a new accessory, the Executioner's Pledge. Some time passed, and Kang finally headed home. News of his crazy achievements had already spread everywhere. Kang even gave an interview with the general, telling everyone he just had to answer the call for help from such an important person. He also used the chance to send a message directly to York, asking if York had to find help just to compete against Hero Kang. Meanwhile, York was watching Kang's provocations and absolutely fuming. He immediately ordered his assistant to send a message to Mr.
Lee, the person they'd talked to before. York told him he'd need to visit South Korea very soon. Back at the interview, Kilgore finally told Kang to shut up. Kang just casually apologized, saying he just had a bad habit of not staying quiet in front of the cameras. But then, the reporters wanted to hear from the general, too.
The general declared that as a true patriot, he had only one thing to say: country above everything, and God above all. Of course, Kang never missed a chance to get under his skin. But then, a few serious-looking men walked up to Kang and invited him to come along. Kang quickly figured they had to be from the CIA. They flashed their badges, so Kang straight up asked if they were even real. Kilgore confirmed they were. Kang then pointed out that their lives usually depended on keeping things quiet. Was it really okay for them to just show their faces like that? One of the agents told Kang to stop messing around and just cooperate, but Kang flat out refused. He said his boss told him never to follow strangers. He even added that he'd rather follow Kilgore than the CIA. However, the agents quickly grabbed him and took him away by force. Kilgore quickly told everyone this was just for Kang's safety, trying to calm down the press, who had seen everything. Pictures of Kang getting captured instantly went viral worldwide. As soon as Park saw it, he immediately told his assistant to track Kang's location. He even tried calling Kang's phone, but couldn't get through. Meanwhile, the agents had taken Kang to a secret CIA safe house in New York City. One of them informed Kang that they were prepping a private VIP jet just for him by tomorrow. Kang wondered if a private jet was really necessary. An agent explained it was already March, and a commercial flight would just put more people at risk of terrorist attacks. Kang then suggested using a tower that leads to Korea, but the agents quickly shot that down, saying they hadn't found any such tower in the US. They did find one that connected to North Korea, though. That was definitely off limits. It could start a full-blown war. Kang asked for some time to sleep until his flight, but the moment he closed his eyes, the agents completely freaked out. Kang immediately wanted to know what the problem was. This time, one agent explained that something strange was going on with this whole situation. Headquarters had even approved releasing the information to Kang. Then, the agent handed over the details for Kang to see for himself. Kang clutched his phone, horrified by what he saw. The scene looked straight out of a horror movie. The agent explained that it happened in East Harlem, just 3 kilometers away, about 4 hours after Kang cleared his last tower. Kang then examined the card left at the crime scene. He instantly knew the face collector had appeared again. But Kang couldn't help but wonder, why now and why here of all places? He figured this was a direct attack, a deliberate provocation. Then, he stood up, instantly making the agents nervous. Kang declared he was going to teach this guy a lesson. He told the agents not to just stand there. They needed to show him the location, especially since the great CIA apparently found this psychopath's whereabouts so quickly. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Big Apple, the killer known as the Face Collector was doing what he did best. The Mirror Monarch thanked him for his work. With that, the psychopath took on the face of a woman. He received a new order. The time had come, and he couldn't make any mistakes. Soon after, he confirmed to someone codenamed M that he understood. The Mirror Monarch then encouraged the player, telling him he could become anything he wanted, even the legendary King Hero. This made Kang start analyzing the true powers of the Abyss. He knew some players in the Abyss, also called the Rankless Kingdom, deliberately avoided using equipment or skill cards. They even hid their names on the leaderboards. These players were known as Abyss Powers. They could be intelligence agents from various countries needing to hide their identities, or special operations forces, or even worse, worse, they could be criminal players in hiding, just waiting for the chance to commit more crimes. The Collector was definitely one of these, infamous for killing many people from the Heavenly Kingdom. Kang thought to himself that if he'd known they would meet like this, he would have definitely asked that woman for more details. It suddenly made sense why they had called him to the tower connected to the USA. It was all a setup. They wanted to put Kang and the Collector in the same place. After some time, they arrived at the location. Kang walked through the streets, quickly realizing the agents had blocked off the entire area. But right off the bat, Kang just knew the killer wasn't there. Kang arrives at the photo location. He makes it clear he's no detective. His job is fighting, so he questions why he's even there. But then one of the agents steps forward. He pulls out a mask, a skin mask, and calmly places it onto a previously sliced, lifeless face. And just like that, the body stands up. Not just that one, but every single body around starts to rise too. Kang immediately demands to know what this guy thinks he's doing. The agent just throws the question back, asking Kang what he thinks. More agents begin donning their own skin masks. The lead agent then reveals the truth. This whole setup was a calculated trap, designed specifically to capture the king hero. But Kang was already one step ahead. He'd pretty much expected something like this all along. He starts getting ready for a massive fight, declaring that the king hero's real specialty is actually walking straight into a trap. With that, he drew his dual weapons and charged at the enemies. The transformed individuals started to close in on Kang. He readied his weapon to defend himself. He swiftly slices one of the foes. Then, with a swift move, he plants a kick right on another attacker's chin. But another foe swings a sword, and he blocks it with his arm. Everyone in the room starts talking at once, asking if he didn't think that ability was super strong. This shocks Kang, his eyes widening as he sees them all acting like identical zombies. He puts a hand on his hip, cracks a smile, and declares it's more like something truly bizarre. Then a voice from the back of the room says that, as expected, he isn't that strong, and M is the only one who recognizes him. Our protagonist demands to know who this M is. Is he the boss of the secret organization, the one formed by powers from the abyss? The voice confirms it, adding that even without their leader, they've already taken down countless Celestial Realm players, just like him. Kang pulls out a dagger, admitting that taking down this enemy might be a bit of a hassle. Just then, one of his opponents snaps their fingers. The entire environment starts to shift magically. The voice tells him not to worry. Now they're in a completely different place. It looks like a coliseum or something similar. Kang immediately recognizes it as a barrier ability, one that creates a subspace. With a look of disgust, he mutters that it seems the Face Collector truly planned this whole thing out. The enemies charge at him, but our guy stays cool. He can't believe the Face Collector actually planned to take out the Hero King. He spins around, blocking every incoming attack with instantly formed ice shields. And he starts blasting away at them with a pistol. Kang remarks that the world is practically ending, and this guy still wants to play the big bad villain. It's like this guy doesn't even see how hard Kang is fighting to maintain world peace. He just blasts an ice projectile right into an opponent's face. Kang keeps firing, his expression now irritated, completely out of patience. The relentless enemies keep coming, but Kang takes them down one by one with his ice bullets. Suddenly, a man with a sharp suit and a fringe covering one eye appears in the corner. He asks what the big deal is. He slowly approaches, walking past the frozen enemies, asking if this isn't entertaining. For him, the real fun is watching the world burn. He gives a sadistic smile, then uses his hands to smash the ice head off one of the frozen men. He wants to see the chaos of the first season's towers, the endless screams, and every street burning to dust. They all want that, but it's not why they're here to kill Kang. The villain pulls a piece of skin from the decapitated ice sculpture's face. He places the skin piece on his own face, then tells Kang to pay attention, calling him a hero wannabe punk. The villain's face begins to shift, and with an evil grin, he says the world will carry on just fine, even without its hero. He asks Kang if he really thinks the world revolves around him, if he's its sole guardian. Kang's expression turns serious, but then the villain adds that this world isn't one that would end so easily, even if the Hero King disappeared. As he says this, some of his cronies start charging up a dagger with energy, because if one Hero King falls, a new one will just appear. With that said, all the enemies surge forward to attack Kang, but Kang skillfully dodges the sword strikes, leaning his body back. The villain then gets an idea. He'll rip off Kang's face himself and become the Hero King. Kang's voice is firm. He calls the guy worthless trash, a noob who never even made it to a season's boss raid. He then unleashes overwhelming energy, spreading his arms wide. All the nearby enemies go flying, ripped apart or sliced to bits. Because of that, Kang thinks the guy shouldn't talk with such arrogance and conviction. The opponent counters that he only skipped the raid because there's no reward at the end of the season. In his opinion, only idiots participate in that crap. Kang tells him if he thinks the world would be fine without him, then it's time for Kang to drop some facts on him. A fact about the Hero King is this: there's only one in the entire universe, and he's standing right here. As he charges a blue energy ball in his hand, he states a fact about Earth. Then, he hurls this energy at the enemy. He finishes by saying the Earth revolves around him. So, the conclusion is clear. The day Kang ends will also be the day the planet ends. After the protagonist's strike, the villain is partially frozen. He starts cursing at Kang. Now the protagonist slowly approaches his opponent's frozen body. He then reveals a fact about this psychopathic maniac. Compared to Kang, the guy is nothing. Kang's hands are frozen into a spear shape, and he wears a sadistic look. Kang then uses this icy spear to strike his opponent right in the abdomen, piercing through him. The guy forgot his place, just because a stupid nickname like Abyss Power went to his head. But our boy has a strong opinion about the Abyss. He believes it's empty, with no power whatsoever in that wasteland. But to Kang's surprise, the enemy's body, which he just defeated, shatters into countless shards of flying glass. Kang's eyes widen at the sight. He then spots a silhouette at the back of the Colosseum. It's the enemy, now possessing a girl with long pink hair. He declares he won't hide his power anymore and plans to take Kang's face. Kang just smirks, asking if the guy really wants his face. He then drops more truth bombs about this psychomaniac. He needs to get beaten up a lot more to learn some manners. The villain quickly moves in on our hero, daring him to try and land a punch. His eyes glow with dark energy as he boasts that Kang's little tricks are super easy to avoid. But as he's talking, all his limbs suddenly separate from his body. He collapses to the ground in shock, face planting and wondering what just happened. A cutting web did the trick. Kang tells him he thought the villain already knew that when you're hunting, you always hide your trap. Kang kneels by his opponent, asking how it feels to get clobbered by the same tactics dark players usually use. He might have cowardly and idiotically beaten some Celestial Kingdom players, but he shouldn't have thought that made him genuinely skilled. The female face rips off, revealing the villain's true look. Kang explains those players just weren't used to killing humans. Those were people who should never have lost to trash like him. Now with black eyes and red irises, our protagonist thanks the villain for showing up right in front of him. He starts forming an ice weapon in his hand. Kang mentions he's not sure if the villain knows this, but the Hero King. But before he can finish his sentence, a scarlet aura suddenly takes over his entire body. An explosion rocks the building they're in. People on the street scatter, scrambling for cover. Police and special ops agents sprint towards the building. They're yelling, trying to find the Hero King. But when they finally get inside, every single agent stops dead. They're absolutely stunned. The place is a disaster zone. One agent immediately yells at Kang, ordering him to put his hands up. Kang, his voice firm, just asks if they might be a little late to the party. The blonde agent, still wearing his sunglasses, is clearly terrified. His voice is shaking as he repeats the order, hands where he can see them, but then a hand grabs the agent's gun. The person tells him to calm down and step back. It's General Kilgore, and he demands to know from Kang what the hell just happened here. Kang explains the villain had lured him into a trap. He says the face collector was waiting, so Kang just did his job and sent him straight to hell. Even with the body completely trashed, Kang believes the real CIA can still identify him, but the general seems a bit suspicious, wondering if this really is the face collector. Kilgore explains that the CIA reported Kang was the one who used the barrier technique, but Kang immediately protests. He tells Kilgore he was captured and led into a trap right after leaving the tower. He says they shouldn't even dare bring up that barrier. Kang completely loses it. He blasts Kilgore, calling him an idiot who can't even recognize a spy who probably already ran off. This really ticks off the general. Or maybe, Kang thinks, General Kilgore is also involved in this whole mess. He channels his ice energy, drawing his sword closer. Kilgore watches Kang silently, a worried look on his face. Kilgore puts a hand to his head. He asks Kang if he seriously thinks he would send the face collector after him. Kilgore says that's so dumb, it's unbelievable. Kang sighs. He gets it. That makes sense. As they leave the building, Kang asks if he can go home now. Some CIA guy promised him a private jet. Later, at a small airport, a plane waits on the tarmac. Kang steps off the plane, arms wide, greeting Mr. Park, who's there to meet him. Kang immediately teases his friend, asking how he deals with so much hair loss. Mr. Park shoots back that some crazy idiot causing trouble every single day is the reason for it. Kang puts on his best pitiful face. He just sent a villain to hell for humanity's sake, he argues, so this is how he deserves to be treated? Mr. Park just hugs him. He mentions the media is already buzzing about it, but Kang bets they're just spreading nonsense again. News reports flash. Kang Yusung gets all the credit for defeating the face collector with a legendary performance. Everyone's asking if he's truly the king of heroes. It's night, and our protagonist finally gets to relax in his apartment. He sips a drink from a can, staring thoughtfully at the horizon. It's already March, and Kang has a bad feeling. Those jerks seem completely unconcerned. He checks his phone, scrolling through a news page about the Hero King's feats. Kang remembers a past warning. Someone told him that people could be exposed to terrorist attacks and asked for understanding. He also recalls a conversation with Mr. Park. They talked about players' abilities growing stronger and how some squads in Russia were already waging war against each other. So he opens his status window, then his equipment, and finally, his inventory. He taps his chin, wondering if it'll finally open this month. He's talking about the level 8 tower. Back in Season 1, a boss appeared there. Then in Season 2, the tower broke, wiping out parts of the world map. Now, our hero hits the accept button on the screen. He gets an executioner's oath ring. This is heroic level gear that hits enemies with a reveal weakness debuff 3 times. The kid is totally surprised. The Death Monarch's gifts are seriously good. Maybe it's because the Death Monarch really enjoyed seeing the Immortal Monarch get humiliated. Since he's already on a roll, he decides to open a card pack. The Hero King has 7 random card packs. He opens them all using his Frost Kai attribute, but nope, all the cards are completely normal, nothing special. He feels pretty unlucky. He looks at his frozen weapon. He knows Frost Kai skills get a buff when paired with the Ice Blacksmith. A notification pops up, asking if he wants to open 3 specific attribute card packs, but he shakes his head. He's not feeling lucky today. Kang is level 58. He dominates the Infinite Labyrinth, holds legendary titles, and wields a deck of assassin skills. He's an unstoppable force in Season 6. The kid scratches his chin, checking the info. He spots 5 stacks of Assassination Warning 1 from his amulet, plus 3 oaths. And with that reveal weakness debuff on top, he'd have a seriously respectable full stack. 2 days fly by, and now we're looking at a player forum. A drawing pops up. A hooded man, 2 spears, and masks. This guy shows up in level 3 to 5 towers, and get this, he cries before he kills. Other comments are all about this crying villain, with users arguing and slinging insults like any typical internet forum. Total chaos. The man with glasses scrolls through his phone. He can't believe the Hero King would actually be in this chat. But guess what? It totally is him. Still, he decides whoever's posting all these comments clearly has way too much free time on their hands. He glances back at the forum. He'll track down these trolls and deal with them no matter what. Next, he opens a new tab, this one about the association. People are ripping into the association workers, calling them useless and demanding they get fired. This really gets him heated. Out on the streets, people are living their normal lives. But suddenly, something grabs everyone's attention. Even a couple about to share an embrace stops dead, stunned by what they see. Men in suits start moving through the area. Onlookers wonder why the Reaper is showing up now. A stylish blonde man declares he's heading into the tower to fight. He tells the others to be ready to capture him the moment he steps out. This elegant man is leader Lee Si-hyuk, the Reaper himself. He has a serious expression, wondering how that jerk dares to break the rules in his city. He keeps his word and storms into the arena tower. He asks the hooded figure if he's the villain causing trouble for all the rookies. The crybaby villain replies that the Reaper took his sweet time showing up. He then adds his robe was so hot he had to cover it in ice. Lee Si-hyuk is completely shocked. He recognizes that voice instantly. He can't believe the villain could actually be him. The figure then sheds his black robe, revealing metallic blue frozen armor. He declares that they never gave the Hero King the respect he deserved. Since everyone loves all this crying so much, he'll give them exactly what they asked for, just like all those comments online. The Reaper gets visibly nervous. His voice trembles as he tells him to calm down, explaining they only wrote those things because their bosses ordered it. The Ice Knight lifts his mask, asking if the comments were true. He then reveals his true identity as the Hero King, confirming what the blonde guy already suspected. Without his armor, the protagonist reveals his true form and starts charging an energy ball in his hand. He has no reason to go easy on his opponent, and his eyes glow fiercely. Lee Si-hyuk claps his hands over his mouth, desperate and drenched in sweat from pure fear. Kang starts crying dramatically, just like everyone talked about. Then he throws his ice spear, piercing straight through his opponent. He wins the first battle and exits the tower, only to walk straight into an ambush set by the Reaper's men. They shout orders to stop him from escaping. Kang just laughs it off, watching the association members ask if they're having another day of acting like doormats. All the men look totally shocked to see that the much-talked-about villain was actually the Hero King. The Reaper shouts that regulations forbid high-level players from chasing low-level ones. But the protagonist points to himself, asking if every player in the world isn't low-level compared to him. He pouts, saying it's not fair because he wants to join the arena too. All the men in suits stare at the guy with judgmental looks. He asks if he's committed a crime or if he should just sit around twiddling his thumbs waiting. He crosses his arms, annoyed, and adds that the association isn't the law, so their rules don't apply to him. If the Reaper has a problem with that, he should try to stop him. But the blonde guy backs down, unable to even look the Hero King in the eye. His companions are completely baffled. So Kang turns his back on the men, declaring he'll go after everyone who called him a crybaby and give them a good beating. Kang gives the men in suits a sarcastic, mysterious side eye. He tells them everyone will soon see how incompetent the AJC truly is, because he doesn't give a damn about their penalty points. One of the suit-wearing guys grinds his teeth in pure rage, but he knows there's nothing he can really do. Then one of them starts to speak, and Kang turns back to listen. The guy with the bowl cut admits that he was the one posting all those crybaby comments on the forums. He puffs out his chest, gathering what little courage he has, and dares the Hero King to come after him first. His boldness inspires the others. They start shaking, but then also admit they posted comments on the forums. One of them screams that he even said Kang was begging for milk and that the Crybaby King was totally worthless. The Reaper slowly stands up, cursing his companions. Together, they declare that today the Reapers will team up to stop this crybaby villain. Kang looks at their stubborn determination with disdain and simply asks if they're having fun. They head into the arena tower. Night falls, and before long, they're already coming back out. Kang waves goodbye to his opponents, thanking them for the points. He tells them he'll put those new skill cards they gave him to good use. Back home, Kang checks his notifications. He mentions that the card he just won will let him finally complete his second deck. But as he's reviewing his decks and cards, something suddenly interrupts him. He starts getting teleports right to the throne of the end. The surprised boy yells out in shock. He floats through an endless galaxy of stars, his body feeling light. Then he reaches a place with a strange energy and starts to descend. The area is super dark, lit only by an aura of energy surrounding him. But soon, the true nature of the place reveals itself. He is standing amidst a group of hooded figures, and they welcome him. The boy gulps. He realizes he has arrived at the throne of the end, the place where all 999 monarchs gather. With a serious look, he asks the monarchs why they summoned him. A golden light flares in front of our hero, surprising him. From the light, a hooded man in golden robes appears, telling him that as the game's monarchs, they want to apologize. The masked man then extends a hand to him. Kang just smiles, telling them there is so much they should apologize for, he has lost count. The monarch explains that when Kang fought player Gyork, he had already completed that tower. Kang only stayed in that world because he got a temporary blessing that allowed him to remain. Kang listens intently and asks for more details about this situation. The monarch explains that this blessing happened because all the monarchs agreed. They desperately wanted to watch the duel. However, that monarch interrupted the fight and took the Undertaker out. The other monarchs were furious about this, and that immortal monarch faced heavy criticism for spoiling all the fun. At the trial, he claimed Kang's sword nullified the rule against killing players inside a tower. He even suggested Kang might have killed someone. The monarch stated his actions were to uphold the rules. But the Hero King defended himself, insisting he would never kill a player inside a tower. However, the man shot back, saying the chances of that happening weren't zero. This surprised Kang. After all, our protagonist had earned the title of Monarch Slayer for a reason. Worried, Kang then asked about the decision made at their meeting. Out of 999 monarchs, 995 ruled the immortal monarch innocent. Kang scratched his head, wondering why he was even there if everything was already settled. The hooded figure explained the problem. One superior monarch had found the immortal monarch guilty. Because of this, the immortal monarch faced severe punishment for his crime, so he had to face the consequences of his actions. And Kang would also receive an opportunity for compensation. The hooded man gave our protagonist a sinister look. Kang then asked if this opportunity was the compensation they mentioned. As he answered, a golden glow filled the room. The man told Kang that everything happening in the game, as always, was because of him. Suddenly, the Hero King was teleported to the immortal monarch's tower. This place had a special condition. If you died inside, you'd only be sent outside. Apprehensive, Kang realized he hadn't managed to change his build settings. If this compensation meant a raid on this tower, he was in big trouble. But then he noticed there was no raid at all. Annoyed, Kang threw up his arms and yelled, asking what he was supposed to do now. But a voice called out to him. Surprised, he looked behind him, trying to find where the voice came from. The voice insisted it was down below. Kang crouched but saw no one. The voice called out again. The boy's a bit wary, but the voice asks if he's a player. He confirms it. That voice tells him it's seen countless players come and die here. So, he should know this place is seriously dangerous. Then it offers to help him. But our hero is already on guard, instantly gripping his ice sword. An ice blast erupts, sending a skeleton head flying. The voice screams, asking if he's trying to rip its head clean off. Kang grabs the head in his hand, wondering if a talking skull isn't a bit too super cliche for an RPG. That makes the skull burst out laughing. It grins, welcoming him to this world where death just doesn't stick. But the boy gets confused. If he can't die, then how does he ever get back to the outside world after a defeat? The skull explains that technically, you do die. But no matter how many times it happens, everyone always revives at midnight. And for the skull itself, it always revives with its head buried in the sand. To Kang, that makes absolutely no sense. This whole situation is thanks to the local ruler, the great immortal emperor. He offered this entire world as a sacrifice. To become a monarch, you have to sacrifice what you love most. And that's exactly what he did. He loved his empire more than anything. So, an endless curse fell upon this world, making death impossible. Kang thinks the emperor just loved his own life most of all. But instead of debating that, he decides he wants to talk about the rewards he can find around here. If that's what he wants, the skull advises him to hit up the imperial palace. It's loaded with treasures. Plus, there aren't any guards, since no one bothers with those rewards anymore. Kang spots a time-worn castle in the distance. An army of skeletons is marching closer. He asks what's going on. The skull replies that these are just friends here to make things less boring. It even adds that it was a pleasure to meet Kang, but our hero sees this as a massive experience farm. So, he calls his companion Darky, and they both charge straight into the enemy. The battle rages, and Kang keeps earning experience. He levels up super fast. It's like a walk in the park for Kang. He's calmly having a blast, racking up all those battle gains, but then the sky starts to darken. He looks up. On this battlefield, now littered with bones, the boy realizes it's almost midnight. All the skeletons he just defeated start to vanish. Then, like magic, they all reappear. They're grouped up again, a full army right in front of him. Kang gets it. This must be where the enemies respawn. That's why they come back every single night. He gets super excited. He realizes this is an amazing place to really enjoy himself. Our protagonist walks a little further, and what does he find? An oasis right in the middle of nowhere. He uses his points and the awakening stone to unlock sword manipulation. This skill imbues his blade with flames and lets him control swords freely. Now that he's got sword manipulation awakened and he's hit level 69, he decides it's the perfect time to go hunting for treasure. The skull's eyes practically glow with excitement. It tells Kang the great immortal emperor's treasure is inside the castle and they're about to get rich. But then the moon shines in a strange new way. Its purple light starts to reveal something odd right there in the oasis. Kang sees it and lets out a big sigh. He's clearly not thrilled. With a sarcastic tone, he comments on how threatening the castle looks. Then, he slowly moves closer. The ground beneath him gets slick with puddles. He needs to cross the lake to reach the castle, getting soaked in the process. The water gets deep enough that he has to duck his head under. He figures he'll be furious if this whole ordeal leads to nothing special. When they surface, the skull lets out a relieved shriek. It claims it thought it was going to die and turn back into sand. Kang just deadpans, asking if skulls even breathe. Anyway, he tells it to stop blabbering and just point to the treasure. But the skull's mood instantly shifts. It screams the immortal emperor's name. Kang's eyes also go wide, staring ahead. They face a grand throne. The skull declares itself a loyal servant of the empire and proudly states it brought a tomb raider right to him. The imposing throne radiates a sinister energy. A massive sword is plunged into the ground directly in front of an armored knight who sits perfectly still. Suddenly, the immortal emperor's eyes flicker to life, glowing sky blue. He's awake! Kang shoves the skull aside, ready for a fight. This guy, the immortal emperor, is no joke. He's got top-tier combat skills and is a high-level necromancer, but it seems the emperor is just an empty shell. Kang activates his Curtain of Absolute Darkness equipment skill. With his twin swords, Kang charges the emperor. The emperor, in turn, grabs his own colossal sword. Then, a purple light blasts from the emperor's sword, unleashing a powerful gust of wind that shoves Kang back. The emperor's sword attack fills the entire room with that eerie purple light. The battle is officially on. With his free hand, the immortal emperor starts channeling a ball of purple energy. Curses fly Kang's way. Kang grips his sword tight, desperately wishing he'd swapped out his skills earlier. He hadn't prepared, and he knew this fight would be a tough grind. Meanwhile, Kang starts prepping some skills. He focuses, then unleashes a spell at his opponent. This hits the immortal emperor with several debuffs. The emperor stumbles for a moment, reeling from the impact, but not for long. He quickly recovers and charges Kang again. Dodging his enemy's assaults, Kang realizes he should have activated activated his murder warning before coming in. The speed debuff means Kang can't land a single hit on the Emperor this way. He spots an even bigger threat alongside the Emperor's attacks. Several hooded specters fly toward him. These are the souls of the dead, emanating from the Emperor's sword aura. Kang tries to defend with his ice sword, but there are too many attacks at once, and the Emperor closes in from behind. The Emperor, using both hands, prepares a lethal strike and lunges at Kang, but Kang spots the attack just in time. His eyes flash. Just as the Emperor unleashes his gigantic sword's attack, Kang blocks it, preventing the damage. But just by touching the blade, even without taking damage, Kang gets hit with nasty debuffs, malign touch, and a speed debuff. These curses are already a massive headache for him, and having to deal with the sword's unique skills just makes everything worse. So, he activates Celestial Demon's Fall. This skill permanently grants him some of the Celestial Demon's abilities. While still defending, Kang wonders if this skill lets him absorb a portion of his opponent's experiences and memories. Then, at a crucial moment, Kang locks his two swords onto the enemy's giant blade. With a powerful move using both arms, he shoves the Emperor backward with incredible force. Now, with his eyes glowing and an aura shimmering from his swords, Kang looks much more confident. He starts seeing scenes from a past era flash through his mind. A young boy training with an enormous sword. These are the memories of the great immortal Emperor himself, transferred to Kang during their intense fight. But the Emperor gives no quarter. He instantly prepares another strike, raising his massive sword again. Kang already sees that exact same attack in the memories he just absorbed. His precious skill is working just as he hoped. With a confident smirk, Kang now has even more tools to dominate this fight. Every time he clashes blades with a strong opponent, he can dissect and absorb all their techniques. Defending and countering has become much easier for Kang. He even asks his opponent what his next move will be. He's already learned all the Emperor's attack patterns by now. The Emperor reels from the push. Kang flies in, readying a deadly attack. His sword streaks across the opponent, glowing blue, but the enemy's blade lands a hit on him too. Both crash to the ground instantly. The knight's heavy armor makes a thunderous impact. Kang watches the battle's aftermath with pride. The body struck by his sword begins to disintegrate. Kang hangs suspended, sword in hand, above the defeated opponent, but his sword's frozen blade shatters. He crashes down, both feet landing directly on the enemy's head. This applies the death mark keyword to the opponent, finally completing his mission. He hits the opponent with the weakness revelation debuff 5 times, reaching its limit. But the immortal Emperor's body starts to float, emitting a dark energy. A man with long white hair and a beard stares at his hands, declaring he doesn't want to die. But a young woman gently covers him with a cloth. She tells him not to worry, promising that if he does as she says, not even death can touch him. Kang witnesses the entire scene and recognizes that voice, but that's not important right now. He regains his composure and starts charging energy in his hand. The Emperor's face appears from behind his shattered mask. It's a skeleton! Kang decides to finish this quickly. He's making sure the Emperor can't ever revive again, but a suffocating, desperate voice echoes, screaming it didn't want to die. It claimed this was its empire and it needed more dark magic. Kang unleashes an energy beam through the Emperor's body. The Emperor screams one last time that it refused to die. The hero gives a respectful bow. The tower world is collapsing in 179 seconds. Skeletal feet approach him. A familiar voice says it knew he could do it, but Kang isn't falling for that sweet talk. He glares, insulted by the treacherous skull. This wasn't just some servant skull, it was someone who had tricked the Emperor long ago, and its sins were finally out. The hero ignores all the flattery. He just tells it to reveal the treasure's location, and fast. Now in its former body, it hands the hero a card pack with ghost and cursed abilities. Plus it gives him the Emperor's black armor and an immortal king's domination blessing. It asks if he liked them, and Kang says yes, but then he asks what it meant by him saving it. The skull explains that with the Emperor's death, the eternal resurrection curse went with him. No one else would revive there. He asks if the ceiling will fall and crush him to death. The skeletal figure explains that if he dies, he'll just return to his own world. That's what the monarchs had promised. This surprises Kang, and he asks how it knew that, but without answering his question, the skull just waves goodbye with shining eyes as the place collapses. Sometime later, the hero is safe. He looks over everything he gained and his new builds. Sitting on the bed, he decides to try on the new armor he got from defeating the Emperor. Kang checked the settings screen. His third deck was finally ready. Kang grinned. The rewards were seriously good, and that skeleton was actually pretty generous. But the goodbye was strange. It was like the skeleton knew he'd see Kang again. Kang wondered what that skeleton really was. Then, Mr. Park called. Kang answered, only to immediately get an earful. His achievement points were absolutely skyrocketing on the leaderboards. Kang explained he'd found a great spot to level up. But even at level 69, the level 8 towers were still locked. He only needed about 20% more XP for his second awakening. Truly the king of heroes, right? Park laughed, saying Kang might become the monarch king at this rate, but Kang just went silent. Then he managed a weak, awkward chuckle. Kang told Park to cut the nonsense and asked for recommendations. Park said it wasn't exactly a recommendation, but there's this bizarre tower. Some players who went inside abruptly gave up on raiding it. Once they came out, they claimed they would protect the tower. Park found it all super weird. He figured they'd completely lost their minds. It looks like a player with high mind control resistance would need to go in and check it out. Kang scratched his chin, realizing he had a blessing that gave him super strong mind resistance. It's called Crystal Clarity and boosts his mental strength by 108 points. So Kang asked for the tower's name. Kang decides to head for the Tower of Peace, rocking his brand new armor. As soon as he arrives, something immediately catches his eye. The place looks like a totally normal, peaceful village, bustling with kids and families on the streets. But here's the twist. The raid objective is to slaughter everyone. Talk about messed up. Suddenly, a voice calls out to Kang. A group of hooded old men in long robes are standing there, staring him down. Kang whips around, his face completely serious. But the men just welcome him, and Kang even notes how peaceful the place seems. The bearded old man keeps his serious expression, but agrees with Kang. Then he tells Kang that he must be there on the monarch's orders to kill them all. Kang doesn't even flinch at the old man's words. He gears up, putting on his full armor, helmet included. Then he asks what they'd do if he had come with that objective. The old man explains that no one there can stop him. The village is full of the elderly, children, and widows with their kids. Suddenly, the peaceful villagers start gathering, begging Kang to spare them. People drop to their knees all around him. Even a young woman cradling a tiny baby kneels and pleads for mercy. Kang tightens his grip on his twin swords, just watching them all beg. Kang realizes this isn't just any tower world, it's a level 7 tower, which means it's incredibly tough. He asks them why the monarchs want their lives sacrificed. The elder explains that evil gods don't need reasons to crush them. It's like stepping on a spider, you just do it. Our hero looks suspicious. He steps closer, stating that monarchs, especially gods, must have better things to do. With a serious look, Kang tells them to cut the analogies and games. They won't work. The elder bows, asking if it truly has to come to this. Kang's voice is firm as he says yes. Kang charges forward, his sword drawn. He yells that he also has a world to protect. The elder blocks his strike with a surge of magic. The elder's true identity is revealed, a fallen angel. Kang already suspected he was in disguise. Kang asks if they really know the Light Monarch's temperament. He'd never let the Light Protectors off the hook after they betrayed him. The angels yell back, claiming the Light Monarch ordered them to kill innocent humans. Our protagonist questions if they're defying orders to protect these people. The angels confirm his suspicion. Kang fixes his gaze on the angel in the center, asking if he's the leader. The angel remains silent. With a grave expression, Kang just stares the angel down. Kang isn't under any mind control. His skill protects him. His sight, hearing, and smell are all perfectly normal, so it's not an illusion either. He grips his sword tight and points it straight at the angels. The boy is confused. If helping the Monarch of Light commit a massacre is a tough level 7, he wonders how hard it would be to side with these guys. Then an angel breaks the silence. It asks Kang if he actually thinks his actions, serving as a puppet for the monarchs, are justified. He takes off his helmet, calmly closes his eyes, and simply says no. The watching angels are completely taken aback by his attitude. The woman with the baby in her arms begs him to spare the angels and children, even offering the rest of their people as a sacrifice instead. But the protagonist hangs his head and says sometimes, you just have to pick the lesser evil. The angel gets furious and yells, asking if Kang is really ready to sacrifice their world just to save his own. The boy raises his arms and says from his point of view, that's actually the least terrible option. The angels immediately draw their swords and get into battle-ready positions. The women, children, and elderly hug each other tightly, praying in utter despair. The protagonist finishes his thought, recalling that a TV hero once said if he had to choose between two bad things, he wouldn't pick either one. The angel, still holding its two swords, now looks completely startled. Kang plunges his sword into the ground and the soil transforms into a weird green liquid. He then looks up and screams at the top of his lungs. He shouts that as a player, he's quitting this raid. Everyone immediately starts judging him, and the Monarch of Light absolutely erupts in anger. But the Hero King is forcefully yanked from the tower, expelled by the Monarch of Light itself. The monarchs just laughed and said they supported his decision. After all, he failed to raid the Tower of Peace a second time. A level 7 tower break was about to happen. Looking up, the kid realized he finally pulled it off. A voice warned him they had barricaded the tower's location. They also ordered an evacuation up to 5 kilometers away. Kang got on the phone and asked them not to send other players. He said they would only get in his way. The person on the other line yelled back, "Did Kang even understand the situation? This was a tough tower, and he hadn't even gone through his second awakening." But Kang shot back that he had faced monsters and ended wars. He'd killed all kinds of things inside towers. Mr. Park, exasperated, then asked why he didn't kill everyone inside the tower he just left. Kang just smiled, unsure how to answer. He simply agreed with Mr. Park. The kid looked down, a worried frown on his face. He wondered why he couldn't kill them. He told himself he should have just killed them all at once. Park told him the situation had spiraled far beyond what he could handle anyway. Then Mr. Park hung up, leaving a tense silence. Kang geared up in his armor, putting away his phone. He felt the atmosphere shift around him. The tower break was about to begin. An angel appeared, sword in hand, as several more soared across the horizon. The countdown started. Our protagonist summoned his 2 swords from the ground. The angels chanted their mantra. The enemy would pay for their sins through light. Several of them surged toward the hero. Kang watched his enemies approach. He wondered if 5 kilometers would really be enough. The game monarch gives the light monarch a serious warning, then conjures a barrier for a fair fight. The light protector faction can't leave the area until Kang Yusung is dead, so our hero activates a temporary Shadow Wings buff. It affects him and any entities he summons. Now he's rocking heavy armor and wings. He says it gives him an old man vibe, but he takes flight and summons his army of the dead. An epic battle erupts between angels and armed skeletons, filling the sky with their clash. Meanwhile, our hero faces one of the angels from that army in a fierce sword fight. This will be a tough challenge for our fearless protagonist. The battle rages on. Many bodies already litter the ground. Our protagonist holds his swords firmly, showing his perseverance. His eyes glow. He radiates confidence. The angel fighting him refuses to give up and attacks again. Then another angel nearby decides to join the fray. Now our hero has to deal with 2 powerful angels at once. The boy thrusts his sword into the ground, causing a flash of light. He unleashes cadaveric explosion, blowing up nearby corpses for massive damage. But some angels manage to shield themselves with their wings. The immortal king's aura boosts the surrounding undead. They level up, get back on their feet, and grab their weapons. And the great death-purging immortal emperor's general's black armor powers up the undead's weapons even more. Our hero also has access to a ton of buffs and poisoning skills. Despite all that, the attacking angels are still going strong, so Kang enchants his blade with the Locust Swarm skill. He also commands his deck to swap out 3 of his active cards. He switches his class from Cursed Sorcerer to Black Magic Assassin. His Cursed Synergy gets cancelled, and the Assassin Synergy activates instead. With a gesture, he activates Charlotte's Web, letting him see his locusts charge forward. The insects quickly swarm and strike the angels. But these aren't just regular bugs. They deal way more damage than anyone expected. Still, a few angels remain untouched and launch their own attack. Our hero counterattacks, charging right back at them. He unleashes sword slashes that land directly on his foes. The fierce, destructive battle rages on as the sun begins to light up the horizon. Suddenly, the monarch's barrier shatters into countless pieces. Kang wipes out all his enemies. His buffs vanish, and he stops the tower from breaking. Plus, our hero hits level 70. The moment the battle ends, reporters rush in, clamoring to speak with our hero. He watches the chaotic crowd charging right at him, but with a wave of his hand, he starts summoning his loyal companion, Darky. He hops onto Darky. The persistent reporters demand to know why he abandoned the raid. They also ask if he was confident he could stop the tower from breaking by himself. With a friendly smile, the young hero says he'll explain, but first, they need to calm down. But the men ignore his request. They swarm him, asking if he quit the raid on his own accord. Keeping his voice calm, he confirms it was on purpose. This shocks everyone around him. They finally fall silent. A man from the back of the crowd asks if he's essentially confessing to allowing a terrorist attack. Kang dismounts Darky, asking how that could possibly be considered terrorism. The man who asked the question is from SciPio, the International Player Police Organization. They came because they thought now was the perfect time. They're also known as player killers. Our protagonist says he understands that without any context, it looks like he's completely lost his mind. But he tells them not to worry, because despite everything, that hasn't happened yet. He offers a gentle smile. The protagonist explains that when he first entered the tower, the mission was to kill everyone, even the weak ones. If they didn't believe him, they could ask the residents there. So he found a more peaceful way to handle it. And again, he told them if they doubted his words, they could ask the players who tried before and gave up. A man from the crowd asked if he didn't think he was being irresponsible, considering the massive potential damage. Kang sighed and shot back that he prevented the tower from breaking without a single death. In his view, that's a player's duty, to protect their world. But the crowd started arguing there was no guarantee the world inside the tower was even real. With a sarcastic tone, he asked them, even if it was real, did they truly think this world was more important than the tower world? He wondered if he should just follow orders and sleep soundly, knowing he'd killed every innocent in that place, including the children who lived there and everyone else who couldn't even defend themselves. Another man asked if he was saying he'd conquer the world just to save his conscience. He shot back that he simply assessed the situation and saved both worlds because it seemed possible. And if that guy was so bothered about a few park trees, he could send the bill to his manager. To wrap things up, he recommended that for all their problems and fears, they should all go see a psychologist because he had nothing to do with it. The sinister man from the back started talking again about the protagonist's moral conflict. He claimed it could one day lead to the destruction of the world, but Kang just laughed at that. He then said he thought they had a much bigger conflict on their hands, so he asked why he should save the world. The man then claimed Kang's actions were childish and that holding the world hostage was ridiculous, but Kang just mocked what he said. Still smiling, Kang asked how a low-rank player could ever understand a true challenger. He shed his heavy armor, stretched his arms out, and told them to just end things peacefully. The CIPO agents exchanged glances the moment the kid made his move. They then swiftly moved through the civilian crowd. Some of them rushed Kang. One woman even pulled out a hairpin to use as a weapon. They yelled that in the name of international player law for causing a tower breach, player Kang was... But before they could finish, Mr. Park suddenly appeared and yanked our protagonist into a portal. In the blink of an eye, he and the kid vanished into the sky, leaving everyone absolutely speechless. They quickly reappeared, far from the chaotic crowd. A voice declared that before any international law, they would take custody of player Kang, and that national law must be applied first. Then a barrier of sharp thorns materialized, stopping the CIPO agents cold. So, despite everything, our hero still ended up in handcuffs. With a calm expression, Kang explained that a villain always stays positive, even when they are getting arrested. He added that it is always the henchmen or gang members who get caught, and they always have an escape plan ready. The driver told him to stay put until Mr. Park showed up. Meanwhile, the monarchs started chiming in, showering our protagonist with countless blessings. Mr. Park pulls up in the car. He tells them to get out of there fast before he loses any more hair. Looking back, the driver points out that statistically, Mr. Park is already at the age where hair loss happens naturally, stress or no stress. Kang just smiles, admitting he might be a little to blame for the hair situation. Mr. Park quickly replies, saying he's actually happy. Why? Because Kang prevented the tower from breaking, and without any major damage. Our protagonist then asks how long until the level 8 towers open. Mr. Park is annoyed by the sudden change of subject, but he answers anyway, explaining they'll open based on player strength. And our hero, he looks like he just got an idea. He realizes he didn't know for sure before the season started, but now it just hit him. Suddenly, a notification screen pops up for everyone inside the car. Not just them, but for anyone and everyone nearby too. It looks like our protagonist's efforts just unlocked level 8 towers and above way ahead of schedule. And with that, the chance to keep world peace just got a whole lot closer. Meanwhile, a man grips his mug, his hand trembling like crazy. He's in the infinite labyrinth, seeing a new update. Level 13, 14, 15, and 16 towers are now active. Everyone must protect the world from threats nobody has ever seen before.